Bazinga.
Bazinga.
I'm gonna say, I will never
hello.
review a Doctor Who role-playing game.
That's fair.
I would rather die.
Drake, you are a bit low. On the screen, I'm gonna.
Okay, let me adjust my. There. Is that better?
Haircut. Hi. Yeah.
Hello.
No, not. I mean, if you
Hello
look
there.
at the thing. Ah, what's it doing? But why? Why are you jumping around like that? No.
I don't know.
Hello, people. We are figuring some stuff out live today. That was weird.
I haven't streamed in a while. Oh my god.
There we go. Yeah. Hi, Azure. Give me a sec. I'm black and white today because it's spoopy time, you know?
Ooh, spooky.
Yes.
You're going with the classic Bela Lugosi vibe.
Yes,
like
I'm old school vampires, you know, so.
Okay, so now that I've read a little bit about this Doctor Who role-playing game, and now we have to cover it because of this one very specific thing. Hold on, because this is really specific. Their initiative system is class-weighted.
Okay.
So, the initiative system rewards quick wit, peacekeeping, and running away from whoever has the gun. Talkers and runners always get to act before fighters in the Doctor Who RPG.
I read about
that. That
this.
is such ass.
I read about this. No, that makes sense for a Who theme, though. Kind of, I think.
Counterpoint: Jack Harkness can totally quick draw faster than you can think.
Yeah, but he wouldn't, because then the story doesn't work. It sucks because I also don't like Doctor Who. I don't like Doctor Who stories for the most part. I'll just say that right now. I like Daleks, and that's about it. Also, I had to answer stuff. Freeman, free haircut and lobotomy. I'm just going to say free. Today is Rolemaster, which we all hate, except Drake. Drake was on the dark path, I think.
Oh, no. Drake is super in. Drake is super in now. Trake is going all
It
in.
has tables. Lots of tables.
Rolemaster exclusive.
Oh no, I don't like this. Trick is my DM.
Trick will never run anything other than Rolemaster.
No, no, what have I done? The monkey's ball. I thought it would be good.
The monkey is out of the basket.
No, the crazy thing is, it's not even a monkey's paw that you wished on. It was me. I wished that Trake would like the Modifius 2d20 system, and the monkey's paw curled and Rolemaster opened its pages.
I think I think you just straight up. The wish was straight up granted. It's so bad that you don't have to curse it further.
So bad. It's so bad, it's good.
It's like a bad salesman where it's like, all right, so you're gonna so you're getting the blessing, right? That the 2d20 is gonna be loved. All right, okay, so I'll have a Rolemaster for free. No, I don't want. Nah, don't worry about it. I'll just throw it in the bag. All right, okay. Can't beat a deal, Can't be free.
Pretty fuel efficient there, lads. Rolemaster.
So
okay, so what's our experience with Rolemaster? Have any of us played it?
I have played it before.
I have.
I've played it for I think a few months.
This is one I actually haven't. That's probably why I like it.
God, we're gonna get to how and why you shouldn't like it. Ezra, you are cute. You are very cute, especially last night when you were high.
Ooh. Mad I missed that.
Yeah.
Now,
happens.
okay, so I'm going to go. I'm going into the Rolemaster Wikipedia page to look at the publications because guess what? I had a DM who really liked Rolemaster, so
There's a certain.
I did not pay
subset of
attention.
people.
By the way, I have been a really really bad player at certain tables, and this was the same guy. It's crazy. I have like the DM. Where it's like every bad story is about the same guy who ran AD&D and D&D Basic.
Is that the same table why they got a knife pulled on you just for reference?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but it's not that guy. The crazy thing, it's another
that
guy
doesn't
at that
play, I
table.
know, but it's the same table because yes.
Same table, yeah. Granted, this was also
great.
this was the same table that I also played a lot of. I can't even remember the name of there was a computer game in which you basically played like sections of the Starship Enterprise, but it's off-brand Enterprise, legally distinct Enterprise. I can't remember the name of the computer game now. It's very good, and we also played a lot of Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, Freeman, you weren't there for the knife story? Retell us again.
Okay, all right, wait. Okay, hello. Okay, so this was at a table I played at, and everybody except for myself and I think one other person was like high school friends, and we met up in university. So at this table, there were a lot of different scumbags and many different flavors. take your pick. But one of them was a guy who was very unhappy with his life, and he would spend his free time throwing Amazon bought like mass packaged throwing knives at his drywall. So very Kyle, very big Kyle, liked the Mountain Dew. He dressed almost exactly like that Kyle versus Kyle video with the rolled beanie and like the fucking Carhartt jackets. But anyways, so it was like at the end of several disputes we had, and we were actually, strangely enough, pretty okay friends. I thought everything was fine, right? Like it was all okay. We had a disagreement, and I don't remember what occurred. I don't remember what transpired that day, but as I was leaving my GM's house, we were playing, I think, D&D 2E? I think we were playing 2E. On the front stoop, he flipped out a knife and made like that, like, I'm gonna grab your shoulder and stab you, like, I'm gonna shank you on the stoop of our shared DM's house that we've been going to for like 2.5 years.
God. Yeah. Yeah. And I still can't beat that story.
And he missed. He missed the grab, and I pushed him, and he rolled down a hill and into the ditch.
Instant karma.
And then he got into the car of another player, and they fucking carpooled home.
I mean, you gotta get home. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's just the funniest idea of I tried to stab one of our players. Okay, alright, Tim, I gotta go home though. It's a weird table.
Perfection.
I stopped playing with them very soon after. I think about a month after. He never showed up after.
But
that.
why?
He never came back.
But why? Why did you stop?
I had not learned. I had not learned that that no D&D was better than bad.
No. Why did you stop at all? I mean, it seems like they were interesting.
They were interesting, but it was not a table that was very. It just wasn't very cohesive. There wasn't a lot of like actual interesting stuff on, and they were very boring sessions. It wasn't even bad. It was just very boring. Where like I have a lot of stories from them because the people there were very characterful, but like the actual games themselves were very. I don't want to say 1E because that's very I would say disrespectful or disparaging. But they were just very simple. It was very much like go here, kill goblins, go back, tell the guy you killed the goblins. That kind of gameplay was very, very common. But the guy who was running most often that wasn't me would try to dress it up like that wasn't what he was doing. He would try to make it seem like it was a much more epic or important adventure when really what it was MMO, go kill these 5 rats, come back, talk to the guy, say you killed the 5 rats. Which is terrible. If you want to run a beer and pretzels game, just say you're going to do it. But that guy also ran Rolemaster, and I played, I think, Rolemaster First Edition and Space Master, which was terrible. It's worse than this.
You opened my eyes to the existence of Space Master today, and I can't say I'm enthused.
Yeah.
No, you can't close your eyes.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is that when we were playing Space Master, everybody realized we just wanted to play Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then I just ran. Then I just ran a Star Wars tabletop.
Holy shit, that would happen.
It happens with every single sci-fi game I've ever played, where people just realize they want to play Star Trek or they want to play Star Wars.
Yeah, you know why? You know why?
That's it.
I can tell you why, because that's the big two things. For fantasy,
that's true.
Everyone just
I'm into stuff like Flash Gordon and like John Carter too, and like Buck Rogers stuff.
No,
but like that's not a fantasy that's usually sold by tabletop games. They want to be they already want to be off-brand Star Wars. By the way, I'm going to send into the chat the cover of a game I played a lot, which is Robin Hood, a Giant Outlaw campaign.
That sounds
interesting.
That sounds whimsical. Let's open this.
It can be used with 2 different systems by ICE. Or at least by some people who worked on ICE.
God, it just doesn't work with this game, though.
It can work with either.
No. I mean, it wouldn't work with Rolemaster, because then, you attacked Little John with the stick. Oh, you rolled an E-crit, and his head was caved in. And this important character of the story is now gone. And, that's a normal attack, by the way. That happens in this game basically every attack. Anyway, we're going to get to that later.
Yes.
Saving the really good stuff for in a bit. Let me just what I meant when I said, it's the big 2 things. If we talk about fantasy, normally you have a shared idea of medieval times. There's castles, knights. There's a wizard because it's cooler if there's a wizard. And then you can just sort of, in my game, there's this and this god, and there's this and that going on. There's an empire to the west. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's still
Plus,
you
can very easily very easily communicate your aesthetic through several different art pieces or tones, or just saying, "Hey, this is the type of stuff that inspires me. This is the type of game I run." And you can very easily communicate what type of fantasy you're going to be running. Sci-fi is way different. It's too noodly.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's too specific.
And with sci-fi, you have many more different tones, and you have many different settings that focus on different aspects of it. I think Star Wars is very popular to play because it's more or less an easy place to make adventures.
On top of that, the setting is just very versatile.
Yeah.
It can be used for any story very simply.
Yeah.
And like the very episodic nature of the stories fits tabletop gaming very well.
Yeah.
Nearly every Firefly game that I've tried to participate in, they're just like, why don't we make this a Star Wars game instead?
Yeah. Firefly,
for obvious reasons.
We should talk about that Firefly system.
Oh, at some point, sure.
Weird.
Firefly would have, as just the setting thing, would have worked perfectly in Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
Just it's the core planet is just the Empire. There you go. It's done.
Yeah.
We have all the things we need.
Done.
Just make every gun do a green shot instead of a pew, and there you are.
Man, I like that Fantasy Flight game system a lot. It's really good. I talk about it a lot
Just
because it's really good.
let me look through chat here a little bit. The knife guys are the dumbest. They think they are so cool and their $400 knives are unbeatable. Then somebody pushes them and that's it.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's pretty much
You
my
got pushed down a hill.
that's pretty much my understanding of that as well. Because knife fighting, knife fighting is hardcore because no one gets out alive if you knife fight.
Yeah.
And if one guy has a knife,
On top of that, there's just a lot of intricacy to knife fighting as it stands. What grip type you're using, what foot stance, but that just gets down to every form of physical combat. Knives are really, really, really close. That's the whole shtick behind them.
yes, if two people know what they're doing with knives, I don't think either of them gets to live after the knife fight. But if
then you get down
know what you're doing,
Kyles who just want to fuck around with cool rainbow knives they bought at 7-Eleven.
Exactly. Then they just put that in your face, and the arm is extended already, and then you just grab the arm. There's no leverage. Then
haircut. A great thing about some of the Force systems or the Star Wars systems is some of them are crazy overpowered, and investing into Force powers is broken. Some of them, like my personal favorite, the Fantasy Flight role-playing system, makes it so that the experience sink is about as much as you would getting into specializing in heavy weapons. So yeah, you could throw something, or you could specialize in using a heavy blaster and trick it out to do instant kills on every single person you come across.
Yeah, I've played the D6, the old D6 Star Wars a bit, and that was
D6, D20 is pretty okay.
I put the Saga edition of D20.
10, 12, 20 dice of D6s to roll for stuff.
Yeah. In those older systems, being a Jedi is broken as fuck. Yeah. It's absolutely broken.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's why I like the newer one.
Space Maya. I just read Space Master Archives that, oh no. It's I don't think we'll ever have to look at Space Master, because if it's anything like this, I don't wanna.
It's the same thing, but longer.
Yeah. Pi says that wizards make everything better. I happen to agree.
Indeed. That's why I'm here.
Star Wars, yes, exactly. Star Wars is a great setting. You can do a whole game with Force stuff. Yeah, you can do a whole game without Force, with Force. You can make it a side thing. I just think, as a rule, unless players are specifically okay with it, you shouldn't have one Jedi and the rest of the party isn't Jedi. It's because it does tend to be about the Jedi more than about other characters.
It's really tough with that one, and as somebody who's run a really, really long game and is joining in with a new one, I think next week, you have to balance those story types, and that's where, I think the type of game that you get into and the type of stories that you tell are going to really, and also just what you enjoy about the setting. If all you enjoy about it is the Jedi and the lightsabers, then the guy who built the Wookiee Marauder with the heavy weapons, he's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
You know, the person who made
the Hunter player.
It's there's so much of that can go wrong if your GM just does not give a shit about the setting outside of Jedi.
Ugh.
Which is unfortunate.
And I hate that. I like playing smugglers a lot, so. And bounty hunters.
Good.
Yeah. What did I play back in the day? I played some sort of weird alien I made up, I've forgotten. I think my plan was to eventually become a Jedi, but it never happened because we didn't play enough.
I really like the Western content in Star Wars. I like that way more than anything else.
Yeah, fair.
Because I like space westerns.
Yeah, but okay, we have beaten around this terrible bush long enough. Let's get
Rolemaster.
Let's get into it.
Go.
Why this book will save your life, or at least you save your story or your character concept. You're creative. You have crafted an interesting, compelling, and dramatic story, or you have conceptualized the perfect character. But what rules do you use to assist you in telling that story or playing that character in a role-playing game? Well, you hold that answer in your hands. In my case, I'm scrolling with my mouse. What lies before you is the ultimate rule set. Oh no. I hope not. Rolemaster
Definitive.
Yes. Rolemaster provides you with all the rules you will ever need. That is true. To tell any fantasy role-playing game, no. Rolemaster becomes the tool set that you will use to entertain and explore the new fantasy that you have been crafting. Like any good craftsman, simply go to your tool set and select the tools that will best suit the job at hand and use those tools. When it comes to characters, there is no system that will allow you more control over your character's definition of more customization and character design than Rolemaster. What lies ahead of you is the ultimate mechanism for portraying the character you have conceptualized! Exclamation mark. No arbitrary limits. No. No, you can't do that. Any character can attempt to do anything desired. Yeah, they will fail and die. You will never adventure in a land that is as enthralling as one of your own creation. So turn this page and begin your ultimate journey. Either as the player or the game master, the path lies ahead. ...
Can we just talk about real quick
Yes.
the idea of the generic or jack of all trades system and how it's so fucking boring because you lose every piece of identity that your system could have.
Yes, exactly.
You lose all uniquity when you try to do everything.
Yes.
You really do really fast.
Like, yeah, I mean, GURPS is the classic example there, and I feel GURPS is better
GURPS
than
a great
this.
example.
It's just
I despise
just
GURPS.
allow more games to exist than just yours.
Yeah.
People trying to make the end-all role-playing system. Well, one, you're never gonna beat the bigger ones, but like, you're wasting time creating noodly subsystems and systems within systems that you could be using to make your game rule set or setting more unique and interesting.
Yeah, and just to point this out, so this half-page paragraph tells you, oh yeah, this is the best system ever to play your own game, make your own shit up, and so on. And then they use the same system for all sorts of product in Robin Hood, for example, or Lord of the Rings, which I played this on, and Space Master, I guess, which probably has a Star Wars section. And then, yeah, either or, my friends. That's what I actually respect a bit about GURPS. GURPS doesn't really do that, to my knowledge. They just have generic everything, which is bad, but at least it's...
Yeah, it's honest.
Yeah, it's honest.
It's very honest, yeah.
And we will see just how fucking wrong everything they said here is. And I will say right now...
Alright.
I have tried... Oh, don't say hi. I have tried with all my considerable brain, of my one brain cells, worked hard to try to remember how you do things in the system, and I have failed. I do not really know. But we don't really have to understand it to know it's bad. So, so we have a bunch of...
That's a perfect tagline for Rolemaster right there. We have to understand it to know that it's bad.
I remember how it plays, and I can talk about that. I just don't remember how you arrive at certain things. So let me just start out by saying this is a D100 system. And you tend to roll two to several D10, maybe just one. Skill rolls are done on a D100. And you have a thing which is low open-ended and high open-ended rolls. These are important to explain, because if you, for example, roll a 1 to 5, I believe it's explained here, yeah, 1 to 5, then you roll your D100 again and subtract whatever you roll from your total. And you keep doing that until you don't roll a 96 to 100 anymore. So in our example which we have here, character rolls a 4, then rolls a 97, and rolls a 3. So they are at a minus 96 because 97 plus 3 is 100. 4 minus 100 is minus 96. So their skill roll is just critically failed by minus 96. It was very, very important that we knew it's minus 96 because certain tables in this book will tell you how bad you just died. And the reverse is the crit is the same thing. 96 to 100, you roll that again until you don't roll 96 to 100 and add it all up. Like in this example, it roll 99, roll 96, then roll a 4, so it's 199. Very convenient examples, but hey, I won't blame them. That explains the math fine. You might be asked to roll the dice, usually not. I like that you to roll a d8 you just re-roll 9s and 10s. That's cute because they don't want you to have d8s. I don't remember if I ever rolled one at all in all of my time playing this. Anyway, that's the basic rolling. That's how we roll in the system. And we have some definitions. And then we immediately make a character. And I will say, some systems can easily get away with just throwing that at you immediately. That's fine. For example, D&D just, I think, basically does this. They might explain stats beforehand, I don't remember. We will quickly see that Rolemaster cannot get away with this.
No, it definitely can't.
Yeah.
You can pick High Man as one of your races.
Yeah, he's
I am
very high.
literally making a meme right now. Give me a moment.
A High Man dabbler.
Yeah. So
I am in the middle of meme making.
yes. So our character concept that we are making in this guided example of this game is that we have read Lord of the Rings and want to make Aragorn 2, i.e. Strider. Fair enough. We are making a ranger, so that's what's happening.
Okay, rock and roll.
So first up we have, so you need about 5 pages of character sheets.
Guys, the reason that I made this meme is very specific because looking in the stat line, it is literally Virgin versus Chad.
Yes.
Like straight up, the high men are super smart, super big, their dicks are huge, and they're like 225 pounds of muscle, and the common man is average 5'10", 160 pounds.
Yes, I know.
It's amazing.
That one is great. That one is just awesome. So don't worry about this. Shitty and intimidating though it might look. So we choose a race first.
Yeah.
And in this book, we have common men, high men, wood elves, dwarves, and halflings.
I like how there's no distinction for other elves, so why not just call them elves? That's okay. I'm being very nitpicky, but that's if you're not going to have 2 separate kinds of elves, then just say elves. The reason that they're doing this is because they're generalizing D&D elves.
They are, and it's worth pointing out that how do I put this? Yeah, these are the most generic races you can have. This is basically they are taking not quite Lord of the Rings, because they would have 3 kinds of elves and some orcs maybe. This is basically they're taking D&D. They just didn't put gnomes in.
Yeah, they are.
And by the way, and this is crazy. So this was done in the 80s, right? This is ripping off earlier D&D that didn't have gnomes. Okay, this is 95. Wow. It's crazy then that they can use halflings because D&D got sued into high heaven for even including them.
The copyright is from 1995.
Wow.
I guess this is second edition. This is better formatted, which is amazing to me, from 1999.
Better form. Oh God, that made me hurt inside.
So,
is this character sheet good or not? I think it's fine.
I think the character sheet is not terrible, but I think
it's fine.
Yeah, the scan
better
looks
than most things that came out around the time.
Sadly, our scan of it is bad, so you can hardly read anything. But we're gonna get a better look at later on. Yeah,
I've read crunchier.
Oh sure. It's not the crunchiest system ever, but it's quite crunchy.
Wait.
Oh, I was meaning a crunchier scan. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Why does common men get a +2 bonus to self-discipline? This doesn't make any sense.
Because they have to constantly hold themselves in check, because they're the virgin common man. They can't just stride with the confident stride of a high man.
So you're talking about attribute points, right?
Yes.
I would like to ask you, at what point in our book have these been explained?
Never.
Good. Perfect.
Never.
Perfect.
Never.
Because I mean I Echo me re SDEM in Q SD ESS Chen ment Pulse this and background options. I can make sense of like half of this.
Let's not abbreviate that.
Yeah, I can make sense of half.
Well, then it would be BO, and that's just not okay.
But it's important that we know common man gets +2 to SD, which is self-discipline, which was spoiled, and +2 to ST, which I have forgotten what that is. Is it stamina?
If you guys look in professions, do you know how many times they use the
okay.
term specialist or specialized?
I guess probably more than necessary.
It is enough that I mentioned it. That's crazy.
Yeah. And just
It's wild.
So looking at all this, so Hyman gets -2 to AG, which is probably agility, +4 to constitution, I guess, +4 to presence, and Q, -2 to Q, and 4 to strength, and -5 to some other stuff, which is in RR bonuses. Which, yeah, thank you very much, book, for explaining your things.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
They've told you up front, but they haven't told you the stats. To answer your question, yes, in most editions of D&D, they explain the stats before they give you the sheet and the racial.
They explain the very basics and then they go. So in this book, they don't explain what the stats are.
Absolutely none.
At all at this point. They, I believe, do later. And then we get to choose the realm of power, which I don't know what that is. Maybe we can also
That
get.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does sound awesome. I know that. So I know that they tell you that a cleric has to be a channeling realm of power, so probably channeling a higher power. A magician has essence. A mentalist has the brain, and so on. And for fighter, thief, and rogue, you can choose one in case you ever get spells or something. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, have to have one. Then you get some profession bonuses, which come from somewhere. From this table. Page later. Fair enough. Which are 10, for example, for a fighter is 10, 10, 10, and 10, and 20, and for a rogue is this and that, and yeah, you get
There's
points.
a class that's all about just being in, like terrible at everything. It's a dabbler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's awful. I couldn't decide what I wanted to be. Ooh,
I know that's just it's so bad. So now we get to stats.
I feel like I played a bard in this. I feel like I played a bard or a ranger. I can't remember.
In this thing, we still do not get an explanation what the stats are at all. We still only
I just looked at the skill sheet and got a fucking anxiety attack.
And but we get points. We get 600 plus 10 d10 points to spend on our points, on our stats. And well, if you can't spend less than 20 apparently. You can spend up to 90 for one-on-one. After that, actually 91 also just costs 1. After that, it gets more expensive to get a stat. Okay, fair.
Understandable. You're running a percentile system.
Yeah, and then we see where the bonuses come from, which is... No, we don't. This is here. So if your stat is between 31 and 69, you get nothing, which is not nice. Where 69 nothing, that should be something. And yeah, then you get minuses if you go lower and pluses if you go up. There's also a formula if you would like, but you don't need it. Here's the thing. And you get potential edge stats, which you roll for. Because I guess that's really important. So if you're a low stat, you can usually get a lot of potential later by training in it. If you're high stat, you don't get a lot, which is kind of nice because it tells you we are supposed to kind of start out high competence in what you are doing, and then maybe not learn only that, even more to go other routes. Maybe okay.
Yeah.
And then we get adolescent skill development, for which we I think get hobby. Okay, so. It's a mess. It is, in my opinion.
I love hearing this. I love hearing the thought process break down.
It's, in my opinion, one of the biggest messes ever. Because, so we are going through, we are choosing a race, we are learning potential stats, we are learning about adolescence and hobbies, skills, and background options, which we apparently have. And we're getting ranks.
They do abbreviate BO at one point here, actually.
Wow.
Perfect.
So here's the thing. I can tell where these stats are coming from. I say this a lot. I just realized over many tabletops of like, my primed intuition has told me where. No, but like I can see with the art and how they're presenting everything. This is a bunch of guys who created a percentile stat system for D&D Basic, or D&D Second Edition, and are marketing it in the early to mid 90s. Or actually, Rolemaster First Edition was made in the 80s.
Yeah.
I think they may have just recopyrighted, but this is guys who have looked at Basic and gone, we want our stats to be more incremental. We want them to be a little bit more like some of the other percentile systems that are coming out, and so we have hacked it. And I am betting you could probably find an email from like 1982 of these guys trying to sell this to TSR employees.
Oh yeah,
I bet that you could find this.
Probably a letter, but yeah,
because there were so many of those emails that one of the TSR employees that I knew still had on a hard drive, and he would make fun of them.
Oh god, perfect. I like
where it would be like, hey, I'm trying to sell a Dune supplement for D&D Basic. Do you guys can you guys like help me out? No. No, but it's okay. I've got this super convoluted system, and you have to use like you have to use like the ray of the sun coming in through the window to make a mark on the page, and then you draw an image of your hand around it, and that shows a map of Arrakis or something. It's like it's always what these guys do. They make super complex things that make sense to them at their table.
It's not a hand tracking. Hi Carrie, thanks for the donation.
Hello.
Oh, a free haircut. We are gonna get to a really funny character a friend of mine made in the system eventually. Once we are past this, was the best halfling I've ever played with. The best.
Crazy thing, actually. Oh my god, no, I can't reference Star Wars FFG again. There is a class that is actually a bad jack of all trades. It's the Fringer.
That's fair. So
Fringer, oh yeah.
You're just Luke.
Yeah.
I scrolled around this book a little, and I agree. If with the analysis of first edition, second edition D&D. Thanks for the posture check as well.
The crazy thing is, I like those editions of D&D.
I also
percentile systems. I like both of these things, but making a bad percentile system is one of the worst things you can do, and it's easy. It's easy to fuck up with it.
Yeah. Quick explanation. I get to sit weird today because I have to prop my foot up still.
Yes.
So you don't want to know how I'm sitting right now. Anyway.
Well, now I want to know.
Just the
you and your yoga, your vampire yoga.
You will never know. Like it's just
I'll intuit it.
Okay, fair. Because this 31 to 69 thing is exactly what old D&D would have with, I think 8 to 14 just being +0 doing nothing. Good luck. You will never be good at this, but you will also never get the minus, so we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hate this so
to
hard.
Make an incremental system and then to make 65 to 70% of the increments mean nothing is just that makes no sense to me.
Yes.
As a designer, it just that does not make any sense.
Especially if it's
because
always
the power of the percentile system is how granular you can get to it. Like that's the strength it has. So to make it not matter, why bother? Yeah,
you can easily do something like attributes like 1 to 100, and your skills are 1 to 100, and then you do add those up, divide by 2. That's your skill rating. So if you're really strong, even if you have never boxed before, you have 50 just because you are fucking strong. And there's a system for you that you can play right now. I made it up. Congratulations. It's easy. And just come up with how you make stats in it, and you're done. You can play right now. But this, you don't need 4,500 tables to make your character. It's bad. If you can't put your character creation into like a few tables, preferably one table, with explanations around it, then it's bad. I'm sorry. This is like why D&D 5e is so successful. Because, I want to play a barbarian. Easy. Let's look at barbarian. Oh, look at this one table that gives me all the things. It tells me, at level 3 I get this. I can read up what that is over there. Oh, I'm done with my character. Cool. It's not... Yes. It is not too... There's nothing wrong with being like, okay, he has 600 or 700 points, build a character. That is totally cool as well. But
fine, but it's not. You're not going to get a big player base too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that is a larger ask. That's the ask Shadowrun makes of you, and Shadowrun, I do love it. But I know Shadowrun is a more fringe game because of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
there is, in defense of tables, I will play the devil's advocate for one moment. But I won't, actually, because I'm going to sell Modiphius Conan again. Because in the Modiphius 2D20 Conan, there is random character tables, but they make a character in 3 minutes flat, and they work every time.
Yeah, I believe it.
So if you die in the middle of a session, you can sit down and go, boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm a horse riding cavalry. I'm a cavalry archer, and I have skills in lockpicking and climbing as well.
Yeah.
Done. I'm done. I'm a character. Or I'm a barbarian, and I have a specialization in heavy weapons and endurance.
Yeah.
They always work.
Meanwhile, over in Rolemaster, we are right now reading this book and wondering why High Speech is S8/W6, while High Elvish is S2/W2. What the fuck
Didn't
does
you
it
fucking
mean?
send in a house cat damage calculation that was 10 TI 60?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Are we doing our taxes or are we creating characters?
No, Freeman.
To determine the damage of a house cat, you need a TI-82 calculator, and you need to craft damage.
And form W3.
Free haircut. We are not having fun today. We're reading Rolemaster. We're not reading Conan RPG. One day we might have fun again, but it's not today. So, anyway, so while we were studying, while you were studying the Blade, we were reading Rolemaster, and
we will do. We did the Fallout RPG by Modiphius, and the 2D20 systems are basically the same, but Conan is a much bigger book. And eventually, we can get around to it when it's my turn again.
Yeah, I mean, Modiphius, I liked the Fallout thing. It was just, it was just
too much Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So you're gonna like everything else Modiphius does way better. Yeah.
So what I remember about character creation in this game is that my group would meet on a Tuesday after work. Everyone would just meet. Sort of, it was 4 to 5 p.m. We would arrive, sort out food, and then sit down, and usually we would play. But the math teacher of the group had said, I'd like to run a Rolemaster game. How about we make characters this week? And I was like, yeah, maybe we can play. Maybe we can play an hour or two at the end, everyone said. And then we met again next week to finish character creation, because no one was done after 4 hours of character creation. Because if you have never read this book, all of this stuff is way complicated, and our friend who sort of knew the system only ever, I think, played it once, and it was the worst, the very worst. But anyway, so you have to note all this shit down. So you get an adolescence rank table of whatever this is. The adolescence means you have 8 in communication skill category language skills. Oh no, communication category is 1, language skills is 8. If auto animal skill category is 1 and riding skill is 1, usually horses, not always, and so on and so on and so on. You note all these things down because they mean something later, but you don't really know what yet. And then you get background options. For some reason right now, because before we are done, these are, what are these? Oh no, this actually is what, yeah. So you can spend points on having special items, which you roll for and so on. That's kind of cool. Can spend points on money, can spend points on stuff. But you can also spend your development points, which... Wait, is it really that bad? BOs. No, these are BOs. These are DBs. No.
I went away for a moment from my Rolemaster page, and I lost my place because I was looking at like, oh man, yeah, I should probably pick up the Dune. I should pre-order the Dune. I wonder if I'm gonna grab the Atreides collection or like the Sand and Dust collection. And then like I just hear, is this even as bad as I thought before? What? It got worse.
Yeah. So you have background options, which are BOs, which you have body odor.
Yes.
And I guess a few points of body odor, which you can spend on things. I don't know where you get them from, but you can spend them on money and or items or whatnot.
special items.
And then
you can get things like spell adders.
Yeah,
which makes it sound like you have a snake wrapped around your wrist that casts a spell.
Yes.
Radical, dude.
+3 spell adder. Or daily 7 item. Or 2 + 20 magic items. What the fuck do you mean? This means nothing to anyone when you start out. But it's right here.
Are they 1d7 magic items?
No. Anyway, then you get your DPs, which if you add together your Ak, your Ko, your Mi, your Ri, and you divide that by 5, that's the point. So you have something like 60, I don't know, points in that probably. Or a special or starting character, which has been exampled, certainly has that. And then you spend that with very real DP costs, depending on I don't know what. On either directly on skills, which as you can see, it's very easy because you spend 2, 2, or 2 if you're a fighter to get heavy armor. Or you spend 1, 1, 1. It's like you might wonder what this means. I have looked at that part up because it triggered me. If you want 1 increase, it costs 2. If you get another increase, it costs 4. If you want a third increase, it costs a total of 6 because you add these up. Then you can't increase it anymore unless you take some other thing. So for example, if you want to have awareness, it's 2 and then 9, so we'll pay 11 to have 2 levels of awareness. These levels translate to some sort of bonus, which I have not found what that is so easily. We might find it together. And then, but mostly what you want to spend your DP on is training packages. For example, you might be an adventurer, which is the one thing they put here. I think the rest is later in the book. And then you get weapon plus 10 non-magic 30, armor plus 10 non-magic 30. And you wonder what that means, and you don't understand. You won't understand.
There are training packages, DP cost tables next page. So you get stuff like Traveler or Soldier, Scout, Ranger, Performer, Rolemaster.
I was more wondering where these actually are. I bet.
Why does Animal Friend take 102 months, but a Knight takes 69? Nice.
Nice.
It takes 24 months to train to be an adventurer?
Yeah. Also, it
only takes 18 to be a hunter. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Or a traveler. It apparently takes like over 2 years to become a city guard. I don't think that's correct. I think that's more like
Animal
6
Friend
weeks.
is 8 years, basically.
Wow.
And
yeah, it's really hard to be Gamera, friend to children.
Yeah. The thing is, these months mean nothing because we are making a character right now, so I don't care. I could be an animal friend and a knight, and I guess it would just mean I would be over 30 years old. Who cares? Yeah. And
could I be 95 but the most skilled creature in the world? Like that'd be awesome.
Probably, but you don't have enough DP to start. You only have so many.
True.
You could find
out. You don't get much DP at 95.
So the rogue gets 24 from me. It could be a knight at only 3 more. Okay, it's actually cheaper for the fighter to be both by 1. Very important information, of course.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely.
And then you have the stat gain table. Very easy to understand. I'm sure you. I don't have to explain this, do I? We aren't dumb here. This is very easy, right? I'm gonna scroll down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a super genius with an IQ in millions, so I can just understand this at first sight, while you peasants wallow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then we roll for extra stats in some manner, and then we have skill categories for some reason.
Some manner. I like how we've devolved into abstract terms. Something will happen in the system at some point.
A manner. Yes.
At some point, you will roll a die.
You're probably
and then I made the mistake of actually reading it.
Yeah. So again, then we can spend on skills directly if we have leftovers. That's possible. And then we get a very quick explanation of our skills. Armor heavy, for example, applicable stats: strange, agility, and strength. So this is a try roll system, I think. Maybe, possibly roll 3 times to get. I don't remember this part. I just remember rolling a lot. I do love this one. It's either standard or 000. Very important to have the 5 zeros every time.
Yes.
And yeah, but we have a bunch of skills. It's not that many. It's a bunch, but it's not that many.
Yeah, this is pretty. Okay, I'm gonna be nice to them. This is not the most amount of skills I've ever seen.
This is fine.
No.
Honestly. This is about average what it was for the time.
The three having armor skills, very D&D. Some people might say you don't really. You kind of need armor skills. You kind of don't. I feel.
Yeah, the thing that I've always pushed for just proficiency, where it's like, do you know how to wear this armor? Yes, then you can wear it and perform all actions in it.
Right.
This is a thing that armor skills and encumbrance is written by people who have never worn things like BDUs or full armor sets, in which you hear, 50 to 80 pounds of armor or BDU. That sounds like a lot. But once you're wearing it, and once you've moved around in it for a couple weeks, it becomes the new normal, and you're totally fine. Anybody with heavy armor proficiency could climb and jump and do everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna bulk up a bunch.
You can even Dark Souls roll in it.
Yeah,
people
you can. There's videos on YouTube. We can. Of people.
There is my favorite video to send people. It's the one that's in really low grainy footage, and there's a British man speaking over it. It's a knight sprinting in fucking full armor like a track runner.
Wait, let me see. Let me just.
Is it gonna be the one? Is it gonna be the exact one?
I have a French one. Movement in armor.
There's a lot of people who I would say armor is the least understood thing in tabletop gaming.
I would agree with that.
That's like even when
you can reload a crossbow.
This is the one I always go to. Just
well, old school crossbows are really tough. Oh, this is a good one. I know this one. The one I was referencing was the first one there. It was a guy running through a field.
Yeah. So this is just guys, two people from today wearing these plates, specific plate mails, which were restored, of course. This one.
They're wonderful sets.
Yes, they are. And we have and this one. What happened? Oh, thank you for the And this is a really a chat move. I mean, look at this shit. This guy's, I mean, that's a real.
It bounced back so hard that he lost his grip on the sword.
Yeah. This is why they didn't use swords in those times. Look, they climb a ladder, showing this, and it's almost like
There's actually a thing where if you look into old manuals of training as a squire or a page, you had to be able to wear a full set and climb ladders, huck hay bales, mount horses, and do all of the stuff that you would be expected to do at a moment's notice in full kit. Same as we do for soldiers now. Yeah, it's reasonable that you could use it.
Yeah, one thing you notice in the video is that you can't. The butt is not protected, which is very interesting.
No,
but it's not really possible. That's why they often had a long, not a cape,
bald usually.
But you can't have that while riding properly, and so many of these armors, which were meant to be worn while on a horse, the butt is the weak point. And they do be loud. That's obvious. So I did put the sound down a bit.
There's a lot of stuff that oh man, it's so much simpler. People want to make it overly complex, and that was my issue with games from the 80s and 90s. Is they were, and actually the response in the 90s with narrative systems that we complained about was a response to over designing in the 80s for people obsessing over what armor did what and how it worked. But like you can see, he's putting in the effort. Because I don't know if the guy is really used to it, but he's got full flexibility. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't think these are used to it. I don't think this tool didn't look like, like they
don't look like they've trained in it. You know, like they don't look like they've done a lot of work in it, but they can still move around really easily even without that training.
Yeah.
It's wild to me that people just don't get it. Same thing with like swords, and I've talked about
this almost went wrong. That one almost went wrong.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yup.
It actually went in. I think that surprised them as well.
It clipped in there. Yeah. But like you get to that point where you do enough FEMA and you talk to guys who are obsessed with spears, and they'll talk for ages about how good the spear is and how swords are lame and whatever. And it's like everything has its purpose and everything has its trained use, and armor has a reason that it's built the way it is. And
right, and they weren't dumb. They had hundreds of years to perfect this stuff.
Yeah.
The only reason it's not in use anymore is because guns are better.
Guns. Yeah, it's literally just guns.
Just guns. Yeah, that's it.
This is where like people talk about the the technological advancement of D&D and stuff, but like armor is going to protect you from a lot of different spell effects, and you're going to be pretty okay. So I mean, if you're running a fantasy world, you can go very, very heavy into industrial stuff without developing firearms and still have guys play them.
Especially if you consider it as magic as well. I'm sure magic armor is going to protect you against a bit of lead coming at you at high speed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sundered. Even me with my interests in historical sociology and stuff like that, I'm never gonna let that be less fun.
And so Sundered, firstly, welcome. Thanks for joining.
You are on point.
Yes, and did you only missed us going slightly crazy so far about the system? It's gonna get worse.
I've regrounded myself in my love of academia. I've come back. Good. I'm back. But yeah, so the issue when your specificity, when your nerdisms take over what is going to be fun, that's the problem. If you're using what you enjoy to make your game or make your setting larger, broader, with a greater sense of verisimilitude, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So then there's some character, if you want to randomly create your personality, which I do like. Sometimes I don't like to do that for my characters, but I like to do it if I am a GM, and I would like just to know, is this tavern keep gonna be nice or maybe not so nice? And the road D100. Oh, he's curious and inquisitive, so I guess he's gonna be very talkative behind the bar. Cool, works.
Counterpoint, if I'm a player and I've already put all of my effort into this stat bullshit, I would roll my personality and not care.
Yeah.
Believe me, we're gonna get to that shit. So believe me, when I said, even the first time we made characters in this game, it took us, I think, like 6 to 7 hours combined over 2 weeks until we were all done. And I think with practice you can get it down to 2 hours to make a character. Because
with training,
once you are proficient in this and put some DP into learning how to be a Rolemaster player, and put your, I don't know, it costs 20 points if you are a nerd, but 30 if you are a jock to get that proficiency, in the training package, then you can sort of go ham on that shit. But anyway, so my point here is, I would just like to drive home, it's not a quick process to make this because it's multi-stage. You have to go back a lot to, because your stats can change during training.
Okay.
And then
I am going to say this on the roll trait tables. I like the motivation traits. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's something that most players struggle with, and it's the number one sticking point of what does my character want, and having very general traits will spur a person on to making a character, and I think that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, that's why so many people, I just say, just think of it like acting. What's my motivation? And that has made so many players at the table just suddenly like, okay, now I really want to do this.
Yeah,
it's really funny that we make fun of actors for like the whole "what's my motivation" thing, but it's like a genuine thing that you actually have to ask
super
a
important.
director.
That's super important.
Yeah, it's so important.
Because when you read a script, you may not get what your character's motivated by in a scene, so you actually have to know that.
These are not all written equally, but I like them in general. If I just wrote, what's my motivation? My motivation is fear of heights. That's not a motivation, but a lot of this works. So you can just if you just don't like it at all.
I like the differences between hate and work against and just hate. I like the idea that you're a curmudgeonly shitlord who just sits around bitching about the Dark Lord, and then your buddy rolls the same thing but work against, and he actually does stuff, so you just come out like a petty douche.
Yes.
I really like that.
I like that too.
Okay, so we have lots of alignment options.
I'm just thinking about a farmer who like sits on his porch and like looks at the evil castle like fucking 6 miles away. So I was like, man, this was better before that Dark Lord moved in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I really like that character. Now hold on, I'm gonna play that guy at some point.
It's fair. It's maybe a better NPC, but well.
Man.
So, it's what your base is. I see. Okay. So I just figured a bit out about the system. So, for example, you have your armor skill. Say you have this guy's bonuses. You have an agility of +6 and a strength of +10. So then you have strength plus agility plus strength. So it would be 26 for heavy armor.
Wonderful.
That's your base
you figured it out.
percentile. And then you do stuff with rank bonuses, which I won't bother. But you have a total, then you have rank category total. Wait, maybe I can figure it out if I find the armor skill.
Guys, I was fucking right. I just looked into S. Coleman Charlton, the guy who designed Rolemaster. While running a 6-year D&D campaign set in Middle-earth, they developed these rules. These are house rules for D&D.
No, how can
1E.
No.
I was fucking right.
Go.
How am I right again?
No, I'm, not to besmirch you in any way, Emery, but it's so obvious. I knew it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just,
like when I could call
so
that out
true.
without reading the rules.
Yeah, you can smell it on the system very fast. But yeah, you are right. You did call it out really early. Also, wait to tell me you didn't read this. I also didn't read this. It's fine. This week I won't care.
No, the thing is, I've skimmed these rules and I remembered. Oh yeah, I played Rolemaster.
Yeah, that's sometimes all you need. So, you get ranks. How do you rank? +18, 43, 5, 10. Oh yes, I see.
Oh, this is really cool. The other guy, Pete Fenlon, who's on staff with Carl. I fucking forgot the other guy's name. S. Coleman. Fenlon apparently ran Mayfair Games for a while, and now he's the CEO of Catan Studio.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
One
of the guys who developed this runs like Settlers of Catan right now.
I would say he learned something about making things concise over the years. Then,
It certainly did.
So yeah, I would just like to point us towards some. So our
that's why his main forms of study are history and anthropology. That's why.
Of course.
The other guy's just some guy.
Of course. So I would like to point out that our example character here, highest skills, body development. 69, nice.
Nice.
I think that gives you more hit points. And broadsword at 76. And the other stuff tends to be between 10 and 30, 35 something. So just keep that in your mind for now. Our bonus to attack would be 76 in this case, since that's our sword skill.
There's nothing I like less than spreading weapon skills over stuff like one-hand concussive, two-hand, and all stuff like that. That is something that I cannot stand.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just too nitpicky.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. And then one thing the system does, which is just weird, is your first level. You have 10,000 experience points. Okay. I don't know why.
I mean, okay.
I guess everyone start at that level, I guess. Just being an adult gives you 10,000 XP, so everyone feel good about yourself, no? Okay.
Character creation. Here's 10,000 XP.
Don't go spending it all in one place now. Spread it around town.
It's not even giving you more hit points. It's actually a skill gives you all of your hit points. If you don't, everyone has body development as a skill, I guess.
Oh.
And then they just have that as hit points. That's how you raise them as well.
No.
I remember this now. So you might be starting to see how it's easy to make a bad character in the system.
Yes.
Maybe you just
in this system, no.
Maybe you just
you could make a character who just dies instantly by getting like a rock thrown at them.
Yeah. And
conversely, you could make Chunk.
Oh yeah, I could make Chunk.
Yeah,
I did make
very
Chunk
easily.
in this. Believe me, I made 2 characters. And
Chunk is forever.
one of them was Chunk. I will talk about this at some point. So then we have a defensive bonus, which is let me just see. Dark has a Q, stat of bonus of 0, and armor quickness bonus 0, shield bonus of 20. So our Varek, our example character, has a defensive bonus of 20. So if one Varek were to get cloned and attack himself, he would have a 56 bonus to hit versus defend. And also we are seeing here defense is a passive thing. You don't really seem to do it actively, which I think is on its face, that's good. It makes combat quicker. And you can get defenses from armor and from a shield. What? For 89? Quickness penalty 89 rigid leather? Oh, okay. Quickness penalty of 0, so you can get a minus to your quickness from heavy armor. Okay. So anyway, I just want to make that clear because I'm going to scroll down in a second to look at weapons.
Yes.
And explain the real meat of
Yes.
the system in so many ways. So you have...
Oh, this isn't... We're not there yet? Whoa.
No, we are not there yet. And then you have to know how big are you and how large is your stride. And then you modify your stride in accordance with this. Which is, bigger characters are just faster for some reason. Because I know, Andre the Giant...
Human has a longer stride?
Yeah, Andre the Giant could totally outrun, I don't know, who's Usain Bolt. That's the thing. And you have a weight penalty if you're a fat guy, which is really important that we know that. You have some sort of armor. There's so many tables in this game, and they're all so very weird. And yeah, again... Look at this. Level 1, you start at 10,000, and level 2 is 20,000. So it's not even, you don't subtract, you just add more. So
Just keep going.
I do not understand why they just give you 10,000. I guess so the math at 20 just shows 500,000.
Yeah, the only way I can explain that would be like the concept that you have to be already practiced to be an adventurer in this world, because like you said before, you have skills already, so how did you develop those skills? Well,
but that kind of assumes that because you slapped a bunch of mosquitoes as a child, you got XP for that, and eventually you're level 1, and that's just not how this works. Also, you don't do the whole process again for level 2, you just get less for the next level, so it doesn't really... It's not consistent with itself. Anyway,
I got interested in something in outfitting that like elves could start with like a magic cloak or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I went down and I went, okay, I gotta check this out. So I went down to the wood elf. There's a general elf description on another page, but you don't get to play regular elves. You have to play wood elves.
Yeah. Because this is a generic one. In the Lord of the Rings there were several elf versions. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then look at this common actions. This is something we never understood at all while we played. We just didn't use this because it's fucking complicated. But you're supposed to have some manner of percentage of your activity, and then you allocate percentages of that to stuff. For example, if I want to draw a weapon, that's 20%. So I think we played it like, okay, you get minus 20 to your attack because you had to draw your sword this turn. Or minus 50 because you changed your weapon. Or you make a missile attack, costs you 60%. So if you go fast, depending on the weapon, you can do 2 attacks maybe. Or you can rush an attack if your total is 120% or something. First attack normal, second attack minus 20. That's how we played it. I have no idea if it's correct that way. But that's
that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's how you actually
like you have a percentage of activity.
Yeah. And I think you can actively attack. Wait.
The fuck is shifting a weapon?
I don't know. Is it explained here?
No.
Good.
It's just. Do I just?
You should know that.
Yeah, you're good.
You should know what it does. I mean, maybe it's here.
What is it like? Like changing my grip?
Nope, it's not here. Perfect. Oh, but now we get to the good stuff. So how do attacks work in this game? I would like you to remember that we just spent at least 2 hours making a character. If we are good at this, if we aren't good at this, it's the next day. You're not done, but you're sort of done enough to start playing. So for an attack, you roll a d100s. That's obvious. Let's say our character with the 76 rolls a very normal roll of, I don't know, 120. That's basically rolling slightly below 50.
Yeah.
So now, then we look at the armor of the enemy, and then we arrive at a certain number and letter combination. So we are in this one. Let's say we're hitting someone who has rigid leather on, which is a 15D. Now, what does that mean, you might ask?
Well, there's a handy-dandy table for it.
Yeah, of course. There's always a handy-dandy table for it. I'm going to go to...
Multiple.
Actually, I'm going to open another book for this because I do have other books, and it's easier for me to not lose my...
You have my brain hung up on shifting a weapon now. Like, I'm still trying to find if there's like a description.
Me too.
And I'm like, why is it 10% versus drawing a weapon is 20% and then changing a weapon is 50%? Why?
So, this is the weapon book, and I'm just gonna scroll until we arrive at the meat of this book.
Okay.
It's here. This is the meat of this book.
Yes.
Every weapon you can possibly imagine has its own A4 page of table for the. So let's find the broadsword to be as accurate as we possibly can.
Man, this makes me want to play Palladium. Jesus.
So where's the broadsword? Let me see. Missile weapons, one-handed concussion weapons, miscellaneous tables, slashing. Is it slashing? Yes, it is.
One-handed rubber
page
weapons.
44 apparently.
Okay.
Broadsword, yeah.
From the floor.
Broadsword. So we wrote 100, and we said, let's say 122. That's, I think, the same thing we read before. And we're hitting rigid
War
leather,
Mattock.
which is good work for not putting it here, but I remember it being this column, first column of rigid leather, is a 15 DS. Now, already you were adding an S to this. What does that mean? Well, I happen to know that it means we are slashing right now. Because we could be P for
DS
piercing,
if you have BO.
and we could have K for crushing as well. This tells us which crit table we're rolling on next. And the 15 is how much damage you do. So remember we're having body development. That's just how much you subtract from your hit points, basically. But we also have this D. What does that mean? Well, if we go far enough down, we have to find the slashing crit table. Which is sadly on its side, but we can work with that. Grapple crits, of course. Stinger, what? Why is there so much animal stuff? No, I want crit tables. Here we go. Large creature, crush, puncture, slash. Here we were at slash. So now let me grab an actual D100 and let's roll. We're on D. So I rolled 83. Major abdominal wound, plus 10 hits. Foe takes 8 hits per round in damage, as well after this, is stunned for 4 rounds, and is unable to parry for the next 2 rounds. Foe at -10. This, I think, is initiative. So what does this mean?
Wow, so you just get fucked up. You just get stabbed in the gut, and then people can just wail on you.
Yeah, I would like to... so let's assume our guy hits the other guy, right?
Just a goblin, whatever.
Let's say they have 60 hit points, so we just did 15, they're at 45. We add 6 more, which means we are at 39 hit points. They are... Yeah. Oh, sorry, 10 more. So we are at 35 hit points. Foe takes 8 hits per round as their guts fall out. That's what happens. And they are stunned for 2 rounds. No, stunned for 4 rounds. 8, 16, 32. So once you can act for a turn, you will be at 3 health.
Take that, Little John.
You are unable to parry for the next 2 rounds. So in the next 2 rounds, someone can just keep stabbing you. You can't even defend. And yeah, that's 1 crit. So basically, after 1 attack, we get to make a new character in this game.
So Trey, you're switching over entirely to Rolemaster, right?
Completely and totally.
Awesome.
Completely
So
and
I'm getting in
totally.
on this. All right.
Everything will be upgraded automatically to crits to make the game more interesting. Oh wait, it's already interesting enough.
Wow.
Man, I will so enjoy that I play a troll in your game. Because then I can just say, oh yeah, I don't care. That just grows back.
Oh wow.
So there's also just a bunch of
Ooh.
instant deaths in here. Impale adversary in heart plus 12 hits, 4 dice instantly. Why do you care if it's 12 points of damage if you die instantly?
Yeah, I don't.
Heart is
What?
destroyed. 25% chance your weapon is stuck in foe for 2 rounds. What? So it doesn't matter how strong I am, I can't pull it out for 2 rounds. The heart's just gonna grab it and it's not gonna let go. It's impossible to get your weapon for 2 rounds. Impossible.
They just say, I can't quit you as they die. Get your weapons stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, I guess it's not actually where it's only a severe abdominal wound. Yeah,
Oh,
they are not
only a
disemboweled.
okay.
Disemboweled is over here. So, basically, as soon as you're above 66, it's almost you're dead. Basically, if it's a high crit, you're dead. The only way to get your defense up is to a heavy armor because then the crits are not as severe. And it is you can sort of fight defensively. I forget how. But the bottom line is, yeah, you're gonna fucking die a lot. The game I played in this, I read weapons kind of first because we happen to have these books and the other player grabbed the character creator. So I was like, oh, maybe look at weapons. And they asked the DM, what does this fucking shit all mean? But I've understood very quickly, if I'm in melee, I'm dead. So I played an archer in our Lord of the Rings game, while a friend of mine played an elf. And that friend, in the first combat they ever did, got an ear and their nose cut off.
Yeah.
Which is basically lucky because it isn't instant death. It's just disfigurement. You look like shit, and nothing can be done about this because this game also has realistic healing.
Yeah, of course it does.
Of course, yeah. It needs to,
And yeah, I was fine. My character was fine because I was an archer. I was run away from them and just shoot them. And I made myself really tall so I could run faster.
Haircut, there's a really good reason why combat is the most painful and tedious in most games. And it's because it is made by people who do not understand how it works.
Yeah.
They are only approaching it from how to make it more granular and more specific, not how to make it more, not even realistic, but more functional. Because the reality of it is a fight's short, it sucks, and everybody sucks, and it's all bad, and you get out of it, and everybody's bruised, and everybody's had a bad time.
Yeah.
And then you go to the pub and you get a pint.
Yeah, that's the realistic take on it, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But is it the fun take? It is not. So you don't generally do that. I mean, I think, for example, D&D. I don't agree with D&D combat that much. It's not the best combat. It's functional. It works. It's fun.
It's very chunky in terms of like you're wailing on just sacks of meat a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
That's also kind of necessary.
I like Shadowrun again for being active. You have active defense in that game, so every attack you can do something about. It is not.
Yeah.
You can build, especially you can build around your normal enemy not being able to hit you and stuff. That's very possible. But it's still favoring the attacker, and it can still be over very fast. But it's it feels fairer than this. Let's just say.
Yeah.
Because as soon as
honestly, my favorite chunk combat, my favorite like crunch combat is D&D, and then my favorite more narrative combat is from the FFG system because I activated a crit on my hit. I may have only done I got like a heavy blaster rifle, so I deal like 11 damage. I almost kill that guy in one shot.
Yeah.
But then I roll a crit, and maybe he drops his gun, or maybe he falls over, or maybe I destroy the cover he's behind, or any number of different things. Maybe I take another aim maneuver, or I duck behind cover. Like that kind of fast-paced, action-based or more beat-based combat is really fun and solid.
I would also like. Oh, sorry.
Even the tactical combat of D&D is it's not really supposed to be 100% realistic. It's supposed to be a tactical war game that is additionally supplementing a role-playing system, which is where I think a lot of people who focus too much on the narrative of D&D completely forget that this is two different games in one.
Yeah.
It's a role-playing skill challenge game and also a tactical war game.
Yeah. And
a lot of people forget that.
Yeah. One thing as well to point out about the problem Rolemaster has with this. So unless you want to just pass this book around the table whenever someone attacks to roll on their table, you're gonna make a copy of the page and give it to the player, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna get a binder.
So my character had a bow, which is usually can only do piercing damage. That's cool. But they also had a sword of some kind and a dagger. So I had 3 weapon pages. And I needed all 3 crit tables for those because I could do piercing, slashing, or crushing damage depending on how I hit. So that's 6 pages of printed material just for your weapons, which is really bad.
Really common stuff. You guys played a lot of older RPGs. Did you guys ever have GMs who would give you a binder?
No.
And it would be like a small binder, and they would have like crit tables and fumble tables and all sorts of different like weapon and equipment prices like in there. Because I used to deal with that with a lot of GMs where they'd go, hey, we don't want to pass the books around, so Jim scanned all of these different tables that you'd need. This is something that would require that approach. It's not even just a nicety. That's just what you have to do.
Yeah, we did that, but we never. I didn't ever get a nice binder from anyone.
Yeah, we usually just had a common binder because we would keep adding stuff to it.
Well, common binder works. Not for this because you need your personal weapons, but yeah.
Yeah, you do. And then there's some of these tables where it's just like there's specialized critical strike tables for if you hit a super large creature.
Mm-hmm.
And whoa, some of these results are crazy. Like, what is it? Awe-inspiring strike drives bone through both lungs. Foe realizes his doom before falling into a coma. He dies in 18 rounds.
Which is
that's a long fucking time.
Yeah, I mean you suffocate for a while. Yeah, that would happen. We don't need to know that, but it would happen.
We don't need to know that though.
It's. Is this for a super large creature getting hit or is it attacking? Is the creature attacking us?
I think it's a large creature getting hit.
I think it's a large creature attacking because we know what happens. Because we did. All right, normal magic mithril. What?
Yeah, normal different armor types are going to
slaying
work differently. Of course, it does.
Yeah, but why is it not A, B, C, D, and D here? What? It said.
Yeah.
Nora, okay. How dare you try to impose any form of logic or reason onto this?
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
It is.
Tiny animal critical strategy, but maybe it makes more sense if they.
Well, against creatures.
Detect his muscle and thumb.
Ooh, weapon fumble.
No, this is the creatures attacking.
Oh, it is a creature's attack.
Yeah, I mean, for example, this well-timed attack tears muscle in the thumb of foe's hand. Foe is disarmed and stunned and unable to pay for 2 rounds. Foe fights at -50. This makes no sense unless this is a creature biting you the thumb. I guess off.
You bastard, you bit my thumb.
Neck strike, wrist strike, slash foe's neck. Imagine this is the Cabanok bunny attacking you. It's the fucking hell.
Yup.
The unbalancing critical strike table. Ha ha ha. Oh god. Weapon fumble table. Oh yeah, there we get to the really good part. So each weapon has a fumble percentage. It's just from 1 to 5 to 6 to 4 to, well, I don't know. Depends on the weapon. It's with each weapon. So if you fumble your weapon, let's see what happens. Let's roll. Oh, nice! It's an 84. I like rolling 80s today. So let's see. Let's say we have a sword, right? Hand arms, one-handed. Yeah. So here, you lose your wind and realize that you should relax and not swing for 2 rounds. What?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
One of them for missile weapons is sweat trickles into your eye. You elect not to attack. Good choice.
I know one of
What?
these is just kill your friends.
Bro.
Swallow
You trip
tongue.
as you release. You're stunned for 12 rounds.
96.99. Swallow tongue in excitement. You are stunned and unable to parry for 3 rounds. Holy shit. Oh, this is
Okay.
100. Bad taste in persecution. Attempts to maim yourself. Roll on a D critical table. Slashing. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. I have to say something about combat granularity. And
Yes.
it's where like every table had its own way of doing things and whatnot. Even down to like the existence of stuff like bastard swords. I'm really big into hand and a halves. I love them a lot. I think the concept of it is really cool, and as an adventurer, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You want to have something that's versatile. So
Yeah.
back in the day when we were talking about that, and it was reasonable, and it was like, okay, that's assumed. Okay, if you have a free hand, then your sword just does an extra d4 of damage. There you go. It didn't have to have a subsystem for switching the handage of your sword,
Yeah.
or doing you do an extra 10% extra on your to hit because you're more accurate, but your reach goes back by 2 feet. Like it didn't need to be like this. This type of granularity is all it does is just infuriate people.
I like that haircut is slowly going insane in chat. It's very apropos.
Yeah, you died instantly in 18 turns. That's what you heard.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the afterlife.
Yes.
We are the three fates. We will now usher you to whichever afterlife you may choose. Roll. I will now roll a d100 to determine where you go.
I'm gonna roll the afterlife table as well.
Oh shit! Tight.
It's legit another 84. How the fuck does this happen?
What is up with these 84s?
I'm gonna switch dice. This is weird. This is weird.
I got an 03. Congratulations, you go to super heaven. It's really cool up there.
Yeah, but before you go there, you have to go to disembowelment hell. Which is what
you gotta pass through disembowelment. See, that's where you go. You gotta pass through one of them to get to super heaven.
Yeah.
Pass through the bowels. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, you know what? It's gonna make super heaven really, really good because you're gonna remember for the rest of your eternity all of that disembowelment.
And you're
gonna be hanging out with an Arnold Palmer, and you're gonna be going, "Wow, this is nice. I'm glad I have all my organs in me."
Yeah.
Though really? I did find the best fumble out of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Worst move seen in ages. You're out for 2 days with a groin injury. There is a 50% chance your foes will be out for 3 rounds, laughing.
50%.
Oh, you get hit in the dick and people laugh at you?
You hit yourself in the dick.
Yes, and you're out for 2 days. It's not 18 rounds, it's 2 days.
That's amazing. And then they just laugh.
Do you take damage?
Hard.
Do you take bleeding? Because we didn't happen to roll it, but there's a lot of stuff with bleeding as well. And
there's so many bleeding. Oh god. There's so many. I'm stunned for 6 rounds.
Yeah, and once you start bleeding in combat, guess what? It's over because you can't. It takes realistic time to bind your wounds, so you can't do that. Also,
oh my god, there's spell fumble tables too, and are even crazier.
Yeah, well, we are gonna get to spells eventually. Let me just tell you, we are by the way playing this on a hex-based grid because doing squares is way too normal.
Well, yeah.
You gotta go the GURPS way.
So we have front facing, we have flank facing, we have rear facing, and you get minuses if they are rear or flank facing to your defense, and they can stab you in the butt easier, which we established earlier as a weak point.
Yes. Of course.
And then you can do so many things, and I don't care anymore. Exhaustion points, yeah, you can get exhaustion, which lowers your combat prowess and so on. There are GM's task and make a world and stuff. I don't care. This book can't be good. I just want to get to so we have adventure strategic environment. So, did you ever need to know how fast you can travel on a road while sneaking? Here you go.
Yes!
We all need to know
that.
I wish I had walked carefully last week Saturday, then I wouldn't have hurt my fucking foot.
Thankful. I wouldn't have hit myself in the dick and been laid up for 2 days.
Yeah, but I did a normal walk to be too faster, but then I hurt my foot and was out for a whole week, you guys. It sucked.
Should have been using Rolemaster to walk.
And you can't jog or walk as fast as a camel. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work like that.
Bro, elephants are amazing.
Yeah, elephants
Get
are...
an elephant. Yeah.
I would almost... Yeah, elephant is pretty cool. It's also a good ride and doesn't care about open path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about cars in the way either.
Yeah.
I'll just destroy them.
This
is probably one of my favorite videos of all time. Is an Indian elephant destroying somebody's car.
And we are going insane with this system.
Okay. So I'm rolling back around. I'm coming back around. I'm back. I've returned. I have brief moments of lucidity among the madness, and I will say I would like more work put into travel in games.
Yes.
And I would like more work put into the environment and what you're going to find along the way, because so much of it is, if I can figure it out. But like so many published adventures for most systems just say, okay, this thing is 10 miles away, point A to point B. Fill in with whatever. Like, no, man, give me a supplement. Put this out. Old D&D used to do this, where they would put out supplements that had it was a road. It was just a road, and you could drop that road in there, and there'd be a bunch of different random encounters and things like that made sense for the area. So it's like, hey, if you have Sahagwin around here or whatever, you could have a bunch of Sahagwin based random encounters. And you didn't have to create your own tables for every area, and you didn't have to use nonsensical random roll nonsense. And like in Phandelver, they do it. They do that stuff all the time. Where Phandelver has great random roll encounters.
But Emery, imagine not doing that, but doing meta tables about how much
imagine
you modify your rolls depending if it's a forest or snow or sand or open or road. And then if your travel mode is sneaking, you get 50 bonus to it. And
you know what I think about that?
Yes, please.
That's what I think about that.
You sent us something. Give me a second. Where is it? What? Where did you put it? What is happening, Emery?
I redeemed the gag.
Oh shit!
Fuck you.
I didn't see it. Okay, fair enough.
Fuck you.
Talk amongst yourselves for 5 minutes, I guess.
I have created 5 minutes of no more. All right. Okay. Straight up, this encounter table is fine.
It works fine. It just the problem is that immediately I'm just like, where's the fumble table for this? That's my reaction.
There's avoidance rolls, and I think it's really weird where they're talking about if you have a big party, then you're screwed. But then you're getting modifications where if you have a party of 51 or up, so if you're a character who gathers followers or gets, units or something like that, you're guaranteed to not be able to avoid. That's just not how troop movement works or anything like that. You can slip by most anybody. It's not hard to figure out.
Especially if you're trying to go for anything that is supposed to be remotely interesting for games like this. Like, we have a trained pack of Drow assassins at our back. I can't avoid anything. There's too many of them.
We've got 60. We've got 50 of them. So you get fucked. If you're in camp and you traveled
49, it's okay.
16 hours.
16 hours.
If you've traveled for 16 hours and you're in camp, you get a -40 to your avoidance roll, so you're going to fail. If you've traveled for 16 hours, they're gonna find you.
So if you have some ability that would let you, travel tirelessly forever. If you play a Thrycreen, well, you're screwed. You traveled too long.
I love Thrycreens. They're great.
I do
but
too.
Then there's always. I don't know why they're obsessed with these weird codes, like attacking groups or traps or ambushes or surprise attacks. Like that they're sighting by another group. What the fuck is that an encounter? They just look over and go, "What's going on over there? Got some Drow assassins. Come on then. Got a license for that assassination. Come on."
Oh my god.
And then you just go, No, and you keep walking like.
Yes.
Just leave.
And then they have
No,
like
man,
such a short
show it,
section here
please.
on what an adventure is.
Oh.
Like,
Oh.
why is it only one page? Why are there like 20 tables that go with your typical adventures? Seriously, they should be right here.
What is on your face?
Looting attack, like that's different from raiding. Cool.
Of course it is. No, it's basically the same as raiding, except the player characters are attacking a specific adventure site.
Oh God.
So one's against a town, and one of them is against an adventure site, which could be a town in theory, which would make it a raid. But it wouldn't be a raid if, again, it's an adventure area. So that would be something like a goblin camp. But if goblin camp is big enough, it could count as a town, which could count as a raid. So again, you might want to narrow it down with another table that shows the granularity between an adventuring location and a town and a village and a maybe a smaller hamlet. Though, again, if the hamlet has a higher population of creatures, maybe it would actually count as an adventuring site rather than a town. So, again, I don't know. We might have to debate about this for a little while, about what counts as a loot versus a raid versus scouting. Wow, a duel in a tournament. Wow.
We rescued these 10 villagers the other day, and now the hamlet is now officially a village. So
Yes.
now everything
You can't
changed.
loot it anymore. Now you're raiding it.
And now it's instantly detected by passerby because now it's officially a village.
Yes, because there's more. Wait, that's only for travel. However, if a group of 50 or more is passing by your town, you will instantly be able to see them because their avoidance roll is going to be too low.
Thankfully, it's not a traveling village. Oh, wait, no, it is now because they're going to a tournament to have a duel. Oh, they're traveling villages.
I'm going.
I'm so glad that my terrible cyclic talking getting her a crying. I haven't had a good cyclic speech since when was the last time we did this? It was Haven City of Violence, wasn't it?
It was Haven City of Violence. You had a good one for that. Yeah. It was very stream of consciousness, that one. And it was over Milk Baby, if I remember right.
Probably.
Yeah, because you were going on about, how does this
Well,
even
no.
work?
Yeah, it was a question about how this would even work, and how you're constantly sending cops who are dying, but you're sending cops to die for the cops that are dying. Like it was nonsense.
Yeah.
But,
and what does Milk Baby do that makes it possible? And yeah.
Okay, back to the land of the lucid. Now, this is where
Rolemaster.
Yes, this is where this frustrates me a lot, because when you're getting down to typical adventures, these are not typical adventures. These are actions that happen during a typical adventure. Scouting is not an adventure. Scouting will happen during it. So scouting missions do not necessarily take place in adventure sites. They can be general investigations of the countryside, whatever, blah blah blah. Then unless your player is interested in learning more about the area, which I think they should be, I think more players should prepare. I think they really should figure that out. Oh my goodness.
I agree.
But this is something where if you don't want your players to engage with it, you would just usually have an NPC scout tell them what's going on in the area and what kind of things are here.
Oh yeah, you do the information dump NPC. You know. Yeah. Very typical. Very typical.
Gag time is over.
Wonderful.
Thank you for the redeem, Emery. Thank you. you did get me good, especially with your speech. Oh my god! And I don't have anything to add to this. This is just nothing of this is a typical adventure. I mean, a tournament can be an adventure, but I think it's a bad one usually.
Yeah, it depends on if your GM is interested in how tournaments actually work and what function they really serve, because people usually use them as almost like nonsensical kind of grandstanding moments, but that's really not what it is. Like most guys who went to tourneys did that as their constant job, and tourneys were much more common and smaller than people. Like they're not massive festivals. They were just things that were held in an area, almost like a carnival. A small carny,
Now, historically speaking, the question in the Middle Ages, early Middle Ages, was we have all these knights, and they're kind of, they're kind of independent. They're sort of nobles. They're sort of under our guy, but
they need something to fucking do.
They need something to fucking do, because otherwise they're gonna loot and pillage the countryside somewhere, and it's gonna make big problems for us.
Yep.
And you got to give these guys something to do.
Yeah. And
otherwise, they're going to be really upset.
We might as well have a tournament. That's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Completely.
It gives you time to travel and see the countryside, and then go, get to a dust up.
Yeah, and you can also develop high ideas of chivalry, sort of, by accident, by being the coolest dude at a turn you over and over. But yeah,
but when
this isn't
like that. That's a thing where you have to kind of understand why these things are being handled, and people often just use them to stuff a location with NPCs, and that gets really, really boring really, really fast, especially if your PCs aren't interested in it. Like, it's tough. It's really tough. We had a long time ago, I ran a D&D adventure. It wasn't even that long ago. It was when 5e came out, I think. I think this was my first or second group that I ran through Lost Mines of Phandelver. We had a character who played a hobgoblin knight.
Nice.
He was a hobgoblin who had been raised by, I think, like a half-elven lord or something, and he was a tourney knight, and he was really into it. And so the party effectively acted as the traveling party for this guy, and they would travel from place to place and hit up tourneys and then solve problems in the local area, and it worked. It was a fantastic central way to keep the party moving.
That's fine. That works, yeah, for sure.
Works great.
And he really liked the joust. I think his specializations were like joust, longsword, and I think flail. I think that's what he was really into.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Very hobgoblin.
One other person in the party who's second fiddle, but they are good at archery to make the other things. And then you have someone, the hype man bard, and then you have a rogue who just steals stuff and is the roadie. Yeah, I can see that.
You
party
can make
right
that
now.
be like a really cool idea. I think what we had was a half elf archer. I think a magic archer, and I think there was arcane archer, which sucks in 5th edition. It's terrible.
Arcane archers always suck in every edition. It's always been bad. And
I don't know why. It's so easy to make a class that's like they are good at using the arrow. Like, I don't know why game designers can't figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah, but if it does more than 2d6 extra damage once per short rest, it's too good, Emery.
Too good. It's too good.
Anyway.
Nobody really wants to be Green Arrow.
No, not really. Anyway, let's look at, and then quickly not look at awarding experience points. So of course there's a bunch of tables, and the harder stuff is, the more XP you get, and of course you get killer XP, and we don't care. It is a good thing many systems either these days do small incremental XP, which you then directly spend, or do milestone if it's a level-based system, because fuck generating and mathing out XP.
I do like the idea of giving experience points for things like maneuvers, which that's really cool. That's really cool. I like skill and spell experience. I like these things. I used to be much more granular with my experience, where I would track like failed and succeeded skill checks back in 3rd edition.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of stuff that included that. But
my problem with this stuff is either the player keeps track of their own spell successes, because yes, this is per cast spell.
Yep.
Or the DM does. And either way, eventually there's going to be a bunch of math which is going to slow the game down. So why even bother? It's fine if you want this. It's not invalid to play with XP. I personally never like it. I find it far more easy and far more fast and far more
you get experience points for dying.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah, you do.
Death EP.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I will say, makes an arrow to a throat and will kill 6 rounds. You receive even if you get XP for dying, which is apropos. There's ways which are not normal medicine to heal you in this game, which is magic, basically. They all kind of suck, but they are there. And it's, if you thought cleric was, people just meme about, we need a cleric in our party in 5th edition, which is, no, you don't. You do need a healer in this game.
Yeah.
Because
you do.
It is otherwise gonna be a shit show. And that is, by the way, my second character. My second character was the biggest, chunkiest healer I could make. Because there's a healer variant where you take up the wounds of other people and then give those wounds to still other people. So essentially, oh, you hit my friend. Well, I take his broken leg. Now it's my broken leg, and then I touch you, and then it's your broken leg. And that is cool. But it's also shit because it's still in the system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that was my chunk, and it worked kind of well because I had as many hit points as I could possibly get. And
there's so much here that it wants you to keep track of constantly, and it's just not functional. From like GM has too much other shit to think about. Like I'm personally against milestone systems. I don't like them. I think doing the math and doing the numbers is perfectly fine. I am okay with that. I think it's reasonable.
Yeah. Now we come
especially in the digital age. I think there is no excuse for running milestone in the digital age. All of that calculation is done for you. There's no reason.
Fair enough.
But go ahead and do it if you want to.
I don't care. Yeah. I don't care enough. That's my stance on it.
Yeah. That's kind of where I arrive for like my Friday game.
If you as the DM want to do it that way, and yes, if tool assisted, I understand, it's fine. I won't mind. But I'm not gonna do it that way because I usually don't. If I run game, it's likely that the monsters I'm running are not the stock from the book. They're going to be modified, and then I would have to think about are they worth more XP, less XP, and then it's worked for me again.
That's stuff where I'm gonna sound like a huge asshole. I do that stuff naturally already. That stuff's not a problem. Like there was a thread the other day about this dude. He works on some of the Arcadia adventures and whatnot for MCDM, but he made like this huge tweet thread about like, oh, have you ever tried to make a high-level spellcaster where you have to adjust for spell slots and this and that and this? And it's like, well, yeah, if you're making an adventure and calculating CR based on, observable options, yeah, it's a pain in the ass that Wizards of the Coast didn't put out their actual algorithm for that for creators, but also just do the math and ballpark the CR, you should be fine.
Yeah.
There's enough in that. You can ballpark your XP pretty easy.
Yeah, here's my dirty little secret about that. I never learned how CR works, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
And
I learned how it worked in 3rd edition, and I think it's perfectly fine. Because it's not necessary.
You all you need, and that's what I do have, is the understanding of, okay, how much can my group handle in this fight? And then that just works. And maybe you overestimate them a little bit, and then that's a hard fight. Maybe you underestimate them a little bit, it's an easy fight. Who cares? Sometimes fights should be easy and hard. And Standard End, I agree on the one hand that it does kind of promote murder hobos if you do XP based rewards.
If combat is the only thing that gives you XP, then yeah, it does. Yeah. But I mean, the biggest thing that encourages murder hobos is lack of consequences.
Exactly. It's lack of consequence, and also just talking with your party as players, not as characters, and saying, guys, can we agree that you won't just kill everyone? This is not that kind of game. I don't want to run that. I hate it. And then if your players are like, but my character, and then you just leave.
The real secret to combat rating in CR in general is just if you're not publishing an adventure, you don't need to know it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Freeman, that's
exactly really a secret.
The only reason that I learned how it worked was specifically because I wrote and published my own adventures for years. That's it.
Yeah, fair. I never did so.
I should probably publish one under my current. Under my current nom de plume.
Yeah, you should. And also,
I should write a tournament adventure.
I did lots of
that has a duel in it.
In the Hall of Hackmaster, and then I did lots and lots of Shadowrun. So I'm most firm in Shadowrun. And yeah. Free hackers. Yes, I agree. It's not going to be a serious campaign. And play loose. Let's go. It works perfectly.
Communicating whether or not you're going to focus on narrative, or you're going to focus on combat and dungeon running, or if you're going to focus on beer and pretzels, like you gotta say that from the beginning. My last campaign that I started a couple months ago, I put out a document. This is what I highly encourage you to do. come up with what I would call the Triforce of what matters to you in an RPG. For me, it's tactical combat, role-playing, and exploration of the setting. Those are the things that are important to me in most any game. And so if I'm making something, I'm going to write out, okay, what is the visual aesthetic of the world? What is the assumption based on your class or your character's race or anything like that? Here's some basic rundowns of how the tactical combat's going to be. Is it going to be important? Is it going to be non-important? Are you going to have to think about what you're doing during combats? Or is it just going to be, padding till we get to the next social encounter? How are the social encounters going to be? Are they going to matter in the long term, or is it not going to matter as much because you guys are just wandering adventurers? Is exploring the setting going to be really important? Is diving deep into tombs and figuring out the local area's lore going to help you out? Listing those things out is very helpful to your players. And just pitching 3 campaign ideas. What do you want to go with, guys?
Yeah.
Do you want to go with this more political campaign? Do you want to go with this very explorative, kind of almost post-apocalyptic kind of vibe? That Breath of the Wild kind of campy, well, not campy, but survivalist kind of based D&D. Like, do you want to run that, or maybe this system or that system? I usually pitch systems to people. Like, do you want to do a Lancer campaign, or D&D or FFG, those kind of things. Pitching what types of campaigns you want to run to your players straight up is super, super important. I think most people just don't do it. I don't know why. I have no clue. Maybe it takes too much work. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, you're not crazy. Everybody does take work.
I encounter way too many DMs who are just like, I want to know what my players want to do. And I'm like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You're running the game.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Right.
And if it's something that you don't want to do, then you're not going to have any fun, and the players aren't going to have any fun. So come
Exactly.
on.
My current campaign is very player driven, and I'm actually kind of tired of asking my players what they want to do because they're not generating their ideas between sessions. That drives me nuts.
No, that's okay.
I value players who think about what they want to do and take actions like that in game.
Drake, I don't think we have that problem with each other, right?
No. Don't have that problem at all.
I'm the kind of asshole who we started playing Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and I created a character, and my character's specific idea is he wants to build a criminal syndicate because I know Ghosts of Saltmarsh has to do with a lot of the criminal underworld.
If you can do Lasso or Emery, I think Emery loves those.
I do.
But
I'm very picky about it though. If you want to make a survivalist games, I 100% play like hex crawly kind of stuff back from D&D Basic. I miss it.
Yeah, Nura gets to experience that every Friday, actually.
Yes.
Well, we did that a lot more towards the start of it.
Yeah, right now we don't because we have a war.
Yes, we have a war going on.
So
yes. Really big war.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't happen to do a lot of exploration because we found the enemy. But
yes.
I'm probably going to key into more of the Amy travel rules, the Adventures in Middle Earth stuff. I'm probably going to work a little bit more heavily towards that travel style, just because I find
my good foot down yet. Yes. We have to talk about Rolemaster again. I'm sorry.
Oh fucking shit! We have to.
Because now we are going to the injury and death and healing section of this book.
Oh boy! I'm gonna go.
Oh, why are we talking about my soul?
Yeah, your soul can die. Your soul can die. There's soul death in this game. It's just fucking metal. You can get killed. Your soul can die by an evil cleric casting an absolution spell on you. What the fuck? The other form of soul death occurs through prolonged exposure to undead, sometimes called unlive creatures of the night, etc. Did Emery just leave to go to the toilet because we're talking about Rolemaster? What happened?
We're talking about soul death? Did Emery's soul just leave the room?
No, actually, so what happened was I wanted to go throw my coffee cup away, and I stopped to wash my face a little bit. My air conditioner because there's heating going on, and it needs to be ventilated.
Understandable. But yeah, so we have degrees of injury, which is a light wound, a medium wound, or a heavy wound. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, I read that thing about soul death, and I went I ascended to because the idea that you look at a player and you go, okay, so this cleric has cast this specific spell on you. Your character no longer has a soul. You cannot be resurrected. Go fuck yourself. It's the most first edition thing I've ever heard.
Yes, so true.
Your character has
raptures. Pissing you off, and instead of talking to him like a reasonable human being, you say your character has suffered soul death. Roll a new character.
Yes, you have 2 hours. Fuck. You
Go home. You don't get to go get pizza with the rest of the group. You have to go home and make a Rolemaster character.
Remember us talking about that Star Trek shitty Star
Yes,
Trek
that's
game?
what I'm referencing.
And being like, you know what, this game. Yeah, I know that's what you're referencing, but I want to talk about a specific thing there. That game, the character creation was, I wouldn't say super fast, but you could have a character in 20 minutes.
Yeah, about.
This game gives you the homework by dying. Because for next week you have to make a new character. It's gonna take you hours.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Soul death. Yeah, that's a good death
I can
method
take
back
hours
then.
of character creation and have a jolly old time. Like I've been tormenting my Star Wars group because I've been building a character and very meticulously spending my XP and my credits to make exactly the character I want on startup.
Yeah.
And like. That's fine if you want to do that. Min-maxing is okay. But like... Holy shit, take 2 hours to build a basic fighter.
But Emery, did you ever consider introducing nerf damage into your party and basically being like, oh, you got hit in the arm, let's see if your arm still works after it heals? In your heroic game of high fantasy?
Actually, yes, that has happened to me.
Good. Because I think it should happen to everyone all the time.
That actually happened to me in AD&D 1E. I got a character whose arm got bitten, like just basically bitten, and we rolled on a fumble table later, and my arm just fucking stopped working.
Yeah.
My character was specialized into using greatswords.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, death. Oh, weird. You're coming to death now. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Because yes, you can. I mean, okay, no. I should say one thing. Yes, you can have this stuff. Yes, it's valid to want this stuff even. But don't inflict it on people unless you're very sure they also want it. And this book acts like it's for everyone. It is fucking not.
Fuck that. Let's talk about racial healing factors.
Are they here? Are they scroll over them?
Yes. Yeah, they're on page 78.
What?
Also, can I not play as an orc in this system?
No, you can't. Not in this book.
Then why do the orc healing factors? Why are they here?
Yeah, because you might find
gray elves and high elves and half elves and mixed men.
Soul departure.
Oh, not those mixed men.
Soul departure. Fucking hell. And mixed men are if common men and high men have sex, then you get.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yes.
And if wood elves and gray and high elves, I guess it's gray elves maybe. And if half elves and halflings, it's mixed dwarves. It's just weird, but okay.
Huh. It takes forever for a dwarf's soul to depart, but a high elf, I'm out of here, guys.
I mean, I'm not sure yet if high is good or bad. Is high good or bad? Do we know?
I feel like high is bad because high men have lower and they're better than the common men, right?
I might be there closer to God though, so go there quicker.
And then when you get down to it, like common orcs, let's hold on.
2 minutes, 12 rounds after death, the character's soul leaves his body. Oh, so
that's minutes.
So is it? It's rounds.
Pretty sure.
It's 2 minutes, so it's 12 rounds. So if you're a high elf, your soul is just gone instantly.
Wow. What the fuck? Why?
Okay, Standard, you want this?
I've come to a conclusion then. High men are Lowry from Mystery of the Druids.
Fuck you.
And common men, well, that's the main protagonist from Mystery of the Druids.
No, Standard, I understand.
Wait a minute,
So,
I know this art piece.
Wait a moment. Let's take a second to do the redeem that just dropped.
Or are we all doing it?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I'll have to. So, especially for Standard End. Was that good? I'm never sure. But there you go. You have it now.
I like the roll. I like the rolled R's.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too. They did it for me.
The rolled R's are German specialty. We can all do that. It's our superpower. And Versailles is here. Of course Versailles is here.
Spanish superpower.
Of course Versailles would pop up for this. We have a special alert for our hours.
Oh shit, new Neuro Aurora just dropped. I gotta get in there.
So anyway, so your sword can also wither, and you can have injury. I can't. Let's go.
Yes, you can.
deeper.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Religion.
You've done this to us, and you
Economics.
balk.
Yes,
Oh,
I
economics.
do.
Oh shit, let's go.
Listen,
Economics.
this is religion.
I'm
This is
perked
all
back
you need
up.
to know. Let's read this whole ass exhaustive article. Where
I can read a whole ass.
Where a guy or maybe girl bows to a statue of a monolith with a snake and a raven, this is metal. This is an album cover.
That's pretty metal. Let's go. This is
Yeah.
Conan, dude.
Religious practices vary with locale, but those found in many areas are generally informal. Personal meditation and infrequent communal celebrations dominate the rural life of many regions. Elsewhere, strict or formal religious norms are more widespread. Each race description in the appendix on page 85 provides specifics on the religion of the race. Game Master Lore provides more detailed information. Okay, so that is all we need to know about religion as a player. That we have a pen.
In
Even
terms of
less than
economics,
Why
in
is
terms
this-
of economics, you're reading like the racial breakdowns of hierocratic systems and coinage, and I think this is fucking wild.
I would like to quickly explode at this.
Elves are communists.
That's good. Good.
Yeah.
Elves are good.
They issue all forms of coinage based free markets.
Yes, on that we can comment on the art. I think the art overall is pretty okay.
I recognized one of the art pieces in the magic item table, and I can tell you almost all of it is ripped from the TSR D&D publications cell prints that they used to give out to third-party developers.
Okay, that is
Okay.
interesting.
That makes sense. Because some of these artists looked familiar to me. So
Yeah, because that's what they did. They sold books that were cell prints, and you would basically snip it out and you would overlay it onto the book and photocopy it in while you were setting out your books back in the old days before the Photoshop.
I just want to know
back
one
in
thing.
the old days before Hyman.
No, it's
Isn't it-
after high men.
It's after
You
high
lose
men.
all the common men. You lose all the high men, and then you're just left with the common men.
Yeah.
Because we're those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
So
There are a lot of high men in Colorado.
I guess.
Let's call back to a
For lots
historical
of reasons.
to a time of history where things were just better. That's what we like to do.
Yeah,
here.
stuff was just better, and we didn't have all these other people
these-
coming in
these-
to our
these-
area and making it
these-
All these
worse.
mixed
Yeah.
men.
Yeah, these. I swear there's some half orc in there, so it's just not good. Why is
All
this
of these
religion
conditionist
page?
degenerates.
Why did you put this here? 24.3 religion. Then you say, yeah, there's a bunch of people having religion, and then you just go to the next thing. Fuck you.
Yeah. I just love how short some of these sections are. Like, they have more on soul death than they have on doing adventures. I mean,
But I want
that's
to
the kind of
find-
game this is.
I'm okay. There's the Oasis now.
Because these are mechanical assumptions. Because these are
then there's
mechanical
classes.
assumptions. These are not setting based or anything.
So I do not care about this. I want to find a specific thing. So now we are getting stats explained. Thank you very much.
Wow, really? No.
I want to see there's merits and flaws in this, and they are amazing.
Really?
Yes, they actually let's just say that it's not easy to find a flaw that's actually not a
Whoa.
flaw. But
So that's what high
think-
men look like.
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
basically Conan.
They're Chads. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
literally Virgin versus Chad. I
Yeah.
made that
Yeah.
joke in the first 5 minutes because it's fucking true.
Totally
Training
is.
package. Where's this?
Though the common man looks like a
Don't
Kender.
tell me it's
but,
in
you
another
know.
book. That would suck.
He does.
Roll trades, accessories. Can buy a bunch
The
of stuff.
halfling looks very worried and protective of his
So,
book.
Listen, people. By the way,
He looks like Kevin Smith.
listen. You can make up your own world. This book is completely free to make up whatever setting and world you want.
Mm-hmm.
But you better believe me that boots are gonna cost a silver piece.
Hell yeah.
There's no other way. This is set in stone. That's just we did a lot of math and deduction. We know what stuff cost in the Middle Ages, and this is just what it cost. Okay, it doesn't have it. Doesn't fuck you. Why is it in a different book? Okay, shit. then I just have to tell the story because it's amazing.
Bro, holy shit, the girl in the thief art, she's banging though.
Yeah. I was just like thief and then rogue. What, did thief steal the rogue's girl? I mean,
I think rogue's more fighty and thief is just actually more steely.
Yeah, it's down to like the second edition kit system.
That's what it feels like.
Okay,
split.
I don't think
they even
we
mentioned
have-
Fafhrd and the Grey Mouse are under rogue.
I don't think
good.
we have merits and flaws in this, which is bad. So let me tell that story because that was one of the best characters ever. So in this Rolemaster game I was in, I made my archer. The second player made their elf, who was a two-sword fighter. And the third character made a halfling, who was just a jack of all trades character. And that player took a lot of flaws. And flaws in this game, certainly not in this book, but they are somewhere, are actually quite the flaws. Because he had, for example, one of them was he had just, once he was asleep, you could not wake him up. Period.
Wow.
Including damage. It was just... You needed to take, I think, more than 10 points of damage to even have a chance to wake up. And so we as players knew this. Obviously, our characters didn't, so the halfling had to go on watch. And because we all had to go on watch, right? And so he instantly fell asleep. And then, the orcs came and stabbed him once. He didn't wake up and stabbed him again. And then he woke up. And then it was kind of a bit too late for everything. And that was that character. The character was interesting, but they were a thief and they were quite cool. And they had actually an ability there's an ability in at least the Rolemaster version of Lord of the Rings to sleep without sleeping. Which is called...
That's tight.
I forgot snoozing or something. I forgot what they call it because I've played it in German, so I can't quite remember. But you could roll on it to just sort of not be as exhausted over time, which is its own skill they put in one of these things. It's just wild. But there were many edges and flaws you could take, and they were, let's say, very impactful, which only adds to the time you need to make a good character in this. Just really quickly. And now let's talk about magic.
1 second. Before we talk about magic.
Sure.
There is something that I saw scrolling through these classes, and it is the classes these developers obviously give a shit about. And you can tell based on their weapon and armor breakdowns that these guys do not like magic casters. There is a small detail, and I would highly recommend anyone who starts reading RPG books, especially from this time before the massive copyright juggernauts that we have now, look at who they give for literary examples. You get for the fighter, Conan the Barbarian, Little John, Gimli the Dwarf. Move on to Thief, Will Scarlet and Bilbo Baggins. You move on to Rogue, you get Robin Hood, Fafhrd, and the Grey Mouser. Wait, Fafhrd is one guy, and the Grey Mouser is the other guy. Fafhr's a fighter. That's not a guy. Fafhr's like a big barbarian guy, and the Grey Mouser is like a thief.
Can you tell me the page of this? I think I lost the page.
94 is the rogue. I'm sorry that I read this over twice before I made that comment, and I didn't even catch that. Yeah. That's not a guy.
And then we get to magicians, and who are their examples?
Nobody. Get to cleric? Nobody. Mentalist? Nobody. Ranger? Nobody. Nobody. Don't talk about it.
Dabbler?
Dabbler? Nobody. Nobody.
Bard? Nobody.
Bard? Nobody.
Oh, look
Nobody.
And the art for Bard is just, oh my god, what is going on?
Awful.
Tall fellow.
It's a juggler, obviously, but the other thing is Will Scarlet's a Bard, 100%. Yeah. Will Scarlet, or actually, wait, no, they have another guy. Oh fuck, I can't remember his name now. He gets written as Will Scarlet a lot too.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. There is a character who's a big bard in the Robin Hood stuff, but...
And then some Astrocoat Milk Baby showed up. What is this? Okay. I think we missed the Milk Baby moment, which I'm sorry. So
Bard is Milk Baby.
On the subject of not liking magic casters. Let me just find my one note.
Yeah, they just don't give a shit.
One note I took about this game. So it was very funny to me. Where did I put it? Oh, I never wrote it down. My Rolemaster notes are literally empty. But we don't have to go far. I think I put it in our group chat.
Haircut. Yeah, that's actually a really common thing. Guys from this age really fucking hated magic users for like no reason. So they would make these incredibly complex systems for weapons and armor, but then they would actively discourage people from taking magic. And it was already a discouragement in old versions of D&D.
I think I should move
it was already
my
really hard.
alert box somewhere.
That's why they were so strong.
It's hard to see that. And Versailles.
Which is why,
thank you for the research.
I've always said...
You might have made some clips. Cool.
Oh boy.
If you put them on Discord, that would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Also, by the way, so let's talk about magic. So I remember as a first level magic user could have like I think the first 3, 4, 5 spells in a list, in a given list. So let's say you take solid manipulation, which is one of the spell lists you can have. Then you have the ability to warm stone, warm metal, warm solid, heat stone, and heat metal. The area of effect is going to be 1 cubic inch per level. Duration is a day. Range is touch. Type is F, whatever F means. What does it do? Warm stone. Warms 1 cubic foot of stone per level up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit at a rate of 1 cubic foot per round of concentration. Without concentration, the material will remain at its current temperature for the remainder of the duration, so you can make it 100 degrees Fahrenheit for a day. So you can make stone as warm as it is on a hot day. Probably cooler than it is on a hot day. That's a spell in this game.
Yeah. Because you need to use that, right?
And you can also warm metal, which is just more metal they can warm, because metal is easier to warm. To the same
more conductive
to the same 100 Fahrenheit, which is gonna do what? Yeah, the guy you're fighting in the metal armor is gonna be sweaty now. So stupid. And with warm solid, you can warm anything. That is inanimate, non-metal material, which is, I guess, mostly wood and And with heat stone,
you gotta remember,
metal,
every time these guys were running a D&D Lord of the Rings hack and introduced these rules. So if you're looking at it through that eye, these are guys who, like D&D, the classic edition, where magic users were weak, wimpy, and ran out of spells faster than anybody could blink. And they also love Lord of the Rings, which is very low magic, and the magic in it is very, very inconsequential to what's going on around you until you're like Gandalf. And because nobody's going to be Gandalf, every single person is going to be a fighter, rogue, thief with some magic abilities that they develop later.
Yeah. Also,
and that's what they want you to be.
Let me keep going here, because heat stone. It's not the same. It's the exact same spell, but it only goes for a minute per level, and it goes to 500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh boy!
Heat metal, same thing. What do we not have here? For I guess no points, because it's pretty obvious.
I'm not hearing anything about damage or what it actually does.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything about how the spell actually affects anybody. For what it makes, I feel like I'm getting a marble slab that I can heat to 500 degrees Fahrenheit and cook a burger.
Yeah.
I can open up a really good food joint.
I mean, I could heat a guy, touch a guy and make his armor be 500 degrees Fahrenheit and slowly broil him in there, I guess. Yeah. But it's not telling me how much damage that does. It's telling me exactly nothing.
This system is made for guys who would argue that broadhead arrows should do slashing damage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally this kind of system.
There was a Bard one, which is a sound control, I think, which is.
Or the guys who will talk about all the different fishing arrows.
Sound control is either for Bards or it is for Kingsters. Here it is. So, quiet 1. Any sound originating within the area of effect cannot be heard outside the area of effect. This results in a special bonus of plus 25 to stalking maneuvers. No, it wouldn't. It would be way more than that. Anyway, cast.
No,
at least there's a rule. There's a rule for something amazing. Cast Sonic Law 1. Cast may manipulate sound within. Oh no, sound projection is what I want to read. So sound projection. Long whisper. Caster can whisper, and the whisper can be heard at any point you choose within the range. Range being 100 feet. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. That's basically a cantrip in D&D.
Yeah.
Sounding 2. Which,
Oh shit! What?
Yeah,
You're talking about sounding?
Yeah, we're talking about
Oh,
sounding.
I didn't
wow.
know they had rules for that. I didn't know we were playing Fatal.
Nice.
Caster's voice is amplified 2 times. This is useful for talking to large crowds. Song sounding too. Song of sounding. Doubles the range of a spell on the controlling song's spell list. The spell from that list must be cast within 1 minute of the completing the spell. So this is just the spell that makes your other spell go farther.
Yeah,
And then
that's all it does.
but later on you get sounding 5, which is the same as sounding 2, except at 5 times as loud. Is this on a linear scale of decibels? So we can kill people right now. If this is on an
Very
actual
quickly.
list, because the decibel scale is already exponential. Is it what does it mean? How loud am I now? And all of these spell lists are like that. There's no rules, there's very little information, and you basically have to imagine what's happening.
Yeah, because they don't care about magic. They care explicitly about the sword fighting and all of the other bullshit that surrounds it. This is a thing where, hey, guess what? If 25 minutes have passed, that means I am legally obliged to talk about it. So if you guys have read a lot of Robert E. Howard's books, they're super racist. like whoa,
Yeah.
boy, oh
Yeah.
no way. But anyways, they're perfectly fine stories. You just have to read them again, context of the time, and hey, that's totally okay. They are very low magic. Most magic is ritualistic or shamanistic, so it's going to be based on people who are doing long, slow rituals. And if you are a caster, the flashier spells are going to cost you a lot, and there's going to be a long recovery time. The crazy thing is, the magic is super strong, and it's really effective.
Yep.
It just comes, again, with societal implications and all sorts of other stuff that people like to posture as in their D&D campaigns, but then they don't actually implement. Now, that's totally fine. That is totally fine to have a low magic system in which magic is a high cost, high reward thing.
Exactly.
But to just go, fuck it, who cares, abdominal wounds are the way forward, is just bad fucking design.
Also, yeah, Freeman,
It's
I agree.
just bad design.
Freeman, I agree. In the second game we played, the player who played a wizard, played the elf before, made a wizard because they also learned, I don't want to be in melee. Let's have NPCs be in melee for us. Let's just all be ranged characters. And he made a wizard, and then he got those spells and was like, what the fuck is happening? And to be fair, later on in the book of spells, which I mean I could now open, but who cares? They do get more powerful, but it's still book of spells. I mean I should actually open it. Give me a sec. Because it's still amazing how that looks in here. So let's find the same thing. Let's just go to random page. So this is the presentation of this, right? Delving. Item field 1. Caster receives basic idea of item's purpose, if any. You take power 1. Well, it's look at this. Look at this garbage.
No.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm looking away from the screen.
Yeah. And sometimes some levels you don't get anything, by the way. It's because I don't know why, but sometimes it's just there's no spell. Because I think they didn't have room to put it on the one page, which each of these is one page. What is this? This is not fun. Look at this. Look at this guy though. Love him. Is he called casting leaving? Teleports to point up to 100 feet away. It's called leaving. Leaving 100.
I'm just imagining the long man commercial,
Holy
except it's
fucking
long door.
Yeah, this is Sundered. You are 100% correct. These are guys who have a preconceived notion about what people are going to want in their fantasy games.
Yeah.
And so if anybody shows up and wants to be a wizard, everybody's going to look at him and go, "What the? Are you stupid? Why would you want to use magic when we have all these sword tables?" It's cyclic thinking. It's a type of reasoning that is poison to game design, and is incredibly exclusive.
Yeah. Just trying to find the same thing. So I want to see how it goes, but I don't think I will. So I don't remember what it was called. Sounding, right? Sounding. Maybe we can find sounding. It's also badly laid out if it wasn't already clear. Cold ball attack. Oh, there's attack tables in here. Of course.
Finally.
You can freeze the guy solid with cold with electrical critical strike table versus impact. Why isn't it called crushing? Fuck you. Cold critical, heat critical. Oh, well, let's look at lightning, electric.
It's so hot. I hate critical.
So let's roll another critical. Let's see. Maybe I roll shit this time because we're playing a wizard. 58. Let's be on D again. Strike to foe's shield arm. If foe has metal armor but no shield, he is knocked out for 1 day. One day. What? 15 hits.
I just hit you in the arm.
Yeah, for and here now.
Bro, stop crying. It's not that bad.
Like,
you don't tell mom about it.
I like the idea of the guy that sits there for all day holding his arm. Ooh, oh, ah.
Oh, it just hurts too bad. Oh, guys, I'm out. I can't do it.
These fucking.
I can't do this. I'm tapping out.
These fucking tables. It's so stupid. I hate them. I hate them so much.
So bad.
This is why I want to do this. Oh, just because of these fucking tables. So of course, if you throw a lightning spell, depending on how high you roll, it does different things. So let's see, what is the typical D? So it's better against metal armor lightning, which kind of makes sense. So we're hitting people easier. So at 111 would have been around. Yeah, who fucking cares, right? But here's the table.
You care. You brought this to us. You have brought this pox upon our house.
You did this to me.
Yes, I would just like to make it clear that unlike with Milk Baby, there's no redeeming qualities at all to this.
There's really nothing. Like Haven had a lot to like make fun of, but this is just it continuously comes back to
pain.
This is why we don't design like we're Shadiversity. Because we're not fucking idiots who are obsessed with the granularities of nonsense postulation. Like, that's really what it gets down to. This is a bunch of people who sat around in armchairs and postulated about what weapons and armor do. And then when they were asked about spells, they went, fuck it, just put them in there.
Yeah.
I can imagine him GMing that way, too. Like, him just showing up at the table going, 100%. Hello, I am Shad. And we're just like, dude, go the fuck away.
No, what you would get is, all right, we're getting into the we're getting into the first session now, all right? You would get 50 fucking minutes of him repeating himself and saying, all right.
The DM shows up wearing a gambeson. Look, you're very mobile in this. Just shut up, go away.
He'd be in a gambeson and a fake chainmail, shitty 3D print hoodie that he's been selling for fucking $60.
I would like to quickly say, if you like Shad, it's fine. None of us do.
I think the guy. I actually think the guy is really nice. He's incredibly long-winded and he's wrong all the time. That's the craziest part. Is he's just incorrect about like everything he talks about. Like he does speculations on nonsense, and it's like, no, we've actually proven that these weapons existed for this reason and in this way, and they operated in this way. And he goes, well, it wouldn't make sense with how they're held and how it would, how you would hold them. With it, if you held them this way, it wouldn't make sense. Like, yeah, because they're not built to be held this way. These are meant to be like held two-handed, or held closer to the head, or held back here and swung from horseback. And he doesn't know what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
Like when he was complaining about nunchucks, it's just like, dude, they didn't have anything else. That's why they used them. Come on.
Oh, you mean that thing that's a threshing tool that was actually proven across multiple different Western and Eastern civilizations? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can and the thing is, you can disarm pretty well with those things because the chain is good for that.
Very good for that.
Yeah.
Just have to be good and be trained, and you know who has time to train? Farmers who just sow their rice.
Yeah. We don't do anything else, huh? And then Todd's Workshop did a video recently of two guys who'd never picked up a heavy flail before, who were wearing full armor, and they were just like, wow, this is cool. I can see why they use this, I love that approach. I love that approach of people picking up something and going, let's see if we can make this work.
Freeman, basically welcome to that. Again, I don't mind the guy, I can't listen to him, and yes, he is wrong a lot. Because if you just armchair pontificate about shit, and it's gonna be wrong a lot of the time, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is that most lay people just don't have that type of, like, you know, academic credential or even the understanding of how these things physically work, because they don't engage with stuff like HEMA. And then they listen to Shad and they say, oh, that's a non-American accent coming out of that man, and he looks very fine. He has all these fantasy books behind him, so yeah, he must know what he's talking about.
Oh, I love people who are like, I read a lot, and then it's just like fantasy novels.
Yeah. Well, that's the golden one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the golden one. Oh god.
Yes!
By the way, guys,
The thing is, I respect the golden one more than Shad, because the dude's a fucking beefcake.
Golden One is Golden One. If you don't know Golden One, you do need to look at that man for 5 minutes, and then listen to him for 2 seconds, and then just go away forever. But yeah,
no thoughts, head empty. You need to protect your mind and your woman, and learn to lift.
Yeah,
he's so good. He's the fucking worst person I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's the perfect Nazi, which yes, he is just a Nazi.
He's a villain.
Yes,
he's a villain.
Yes.
He's what the Nazis thought they were.
Yes, exactly. He thinks he's the perfect Nazi himself. He just doesn't say that out loud.
Yes.
That's perfect. Oh my god.
He's the Aryan Overmensch. He's fucking crazy.
He's dumb, crazy, and very, very big.
Yes. I'm thinking about his fucking Facebook banner that he had for like 10 years. That was him in like a Nordic kilt with a long sword and no shirt. He's standing. Fucking like.
The thing I love the most about Golden One is the random flex he does to introduce himself. He just flexes random parts of his body.
Guys, and then he does like bodybuilder pose flexing while he's sitting in a chair. Those, like, they're amazing. It's so good. Could you know, Rolemaster is designed for Shadowversity and the Golden One. These two, I think those two would be great at a table together playing this. Do you ever think that this is what we'd be talking about? Tabletop talk?
I mean, we've gone off the rails a lot, and that's fine. I don't mind it. And
it's just that it's so weird. There's only so many times. Oh my god, we've said this before. There's only so many times you can say game bad.
Yeah.
And like the crazy thing is, this isn't even bad. It's just arcane and convoluted and nonsensical. Like when you get down to the brass tacks of why was this designed this way, it's because it was a bunch of guys who had too much time on their hands and were obsessed with Lord of the Rings and D&D and making things more granular.
And again,
like,
look at again, just random. We just get solid destruction. First spell melt ice, second spell loosen earth, third erosions, fourth cracks wall, 5 undor, 6 stone to earth, 8 earth to mud, 10 corridor, 11 shatter, unearth, stone, undor true. What the fuck does that mean? Unmetal, solid destruction true. What? Tremors, great crack and quake. So these people can say without even lying that they have more spells than D&D, but only because one of their spells is melt fucking ice. Which even in D&D, which is no spells, you can be like, DM, I have firebolt, can I melt this ice? And DM is like, yeah, we will take some time, you can melt the ice. And we didn't need to know how much it is per round. But with this, we sure do know.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Okay, can I make an executive decision?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's move on to the training packages, and this is something where I think it's fascinating when you are creating training packages.
Yes,
this is actually kind of cool. The GM can decide to allow characters to develop training packages in their apprenticeship development. This is going to be page. I've lost the page numbers. 135. So okay, here's the crazy thing. I actually really like this type of stuff whenever you have characters who have a class and then they have a package of skills and equipment and things that they get from their background. I think that D&D 5e could have done much better with that.
I agree.
And it would have been really fun.
I agree.
So, right here, right away, what's the first one? Adventurer. It's the marquee bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is the character who seeks his fame and fortune by exploration and taking risks with his own life. The adventurer is at home in most types of inhabited places as well as many kind of wilderness locales. Like every single fucking player character. Yep. Every single one. There's no player character who wouldn't realistically have this.
Yeah, I mean,
Animal Friend.
I think
A loner, except for Animal
game-
Friends, the player who wants to have a bunch of animal buddies.
I think the game has like the idea that you can learn these during play as well, so you can start without adventurer. But yeah, in your basic basic party, if you don't know what you're playing, take adventurer. It's going to be useful for sure.
You could theoretically also just take fighter and be an amateur mage.
Why are these two epic hair dudes giving each other the finger with glowing fingers? What the heck is
No,
happening
I do
here?
this with my friends all the time. I don't know about you.
Oh, that's the amateur mage. I see.
This is bleed
Amateur,
over from
yeah,
the
and
DBZ game.
you could realistically take. It would be a better idea to be like a rogue and take amateur mage if you wanted to be a spellcaster. So you have spellcasting be a thing that you do on the side. Burglar, city guard. Who the fuck is coming to a game wanting to be a city guard?
Well,
I know there's got to be somebody.
I think it's like, I used to be a city guard for a while, but no one would want to be. I remember
I've played a guard captain at one point, but that was also in like a 3.5 like Gestalt character game.
The thing I remember about this is, if you wanted to have certain things at your maximum, you would look through and look at, which ones gives me weapon skills. So I take adventurer, I take knight, and I take city guard or something like that, and then you would have your maximum in that. Because as a fighter, city guard is very cheap to take, because it's only 15, and then you sort of look out for what gives me bonuses. That is the logic there.
Oh yeah.
That's the cookie cutter way to build in this game, which
for the
boring
body
but
development.
functional.
I think this is great. There are two different types of training packages: vocational and lifestyle. Yeah. These is just something that you have, and one of them is the core of your character.
Exactly.
What the fuck are you? Why would you
City
have
guard
this?
is a vocation. Adventurer might be a lifestyle? Question mark.
It is.
Adventurer is a lifestyle.
is.
So not everyone
Knight is a
would be a
lifestyle, but
lifestyle.
a lore master is vocational.
Yeah, that actually checks out well. I can be an adventurer and a doctor. Cool, very cool. Yeah, that is actually something. Okay, we found the good thing.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
You can
that's
be a
good
knight
thing.
without you can be a knight without being a soldier, because those two things are not automatically contiguous. You could just be somebody who lives that knightly lifestyle but doesn't have a lot of combat expertise. That makes sense. Like, you're trained in it, but you're not a hired soldier. Yeah, that makes sense. I get it. Right after this, we get to roll trades. And there's one page. There's one page. And it's your character's role, which includes their personality, motivation, alignment, and physical appearance. Who gives a shit? Time for equipment and 40 fucking pages of charts.
Yes.
Who gives a shit about your character's role in the narrative?
Yeah.
Time to talk about Gizarms.
Yeah, man, how many boots does he have? Can I have one boot
How
per
many
silver
boots
piece?
does he have? What kind does he have? Does he have a Gizarm with a bill hook on the back of it? Because I want to know if he can trip that guy.
You cannot buy a brush.
Do you
by the way. It's
have
wonderful
a side
writing.
sword, or do you have a rapier? You got to be really specific. Do you have a back sword?
There's no.
I need to know.
I like that there's no normal brush. There's only a writing brush. That's cool.
I thought there was literally an item in here that said Wedge of Slaying. But no, it's Wedge of Staying.
Is it just to keep the door open?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a
you know.
wedge.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to get specific, you could have like a belay.
I thought it was a wedge for killing people, but I was disappointed.
Why do,
when I
they
zoomed
have,
in.
why do they give them an ID number, and why does it suddenly jump from 70 to 100? What? Then it's 400? What? Oh, it's
Full
by
shield,
table.
full shield, target shield, normal shield.
That hurts my brain. No.
Jane
No,
Hobberg.
they've
was-
created their own decimal system for you to search your armor.
Yeah, you can just write down that that the whistle is 073 on, and you don't have to know that it's. Oh God!
I'm gonna buy myself 426 and then make sure to supplement it with a 320.
Yeah, do you
Use it a private
do you
path.
even forget Guisam? Do you even? Do you though? I don't know if I said that
I like how they
right.
jump around too.
No, I
They're
actually
the
just went
400s
into
for
it. I didn't even
transport.
see it. Hold on, I'm gonna go see it. What can we get? Oh, you know what? I do think you have a bastard sword, a regular sword, and a long sword. But then, when you really get down to it, you only have the two-handed sword. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. We could include claymores. We could include spy hammers. We could include the spedal. But you just want to make those all into one thing for simplicity's sake. We need
let's
more.
maybe in
for
this book
cutlasses.
maybe in this room a book in their weapon
And
book.
cudgels and clubs.
Emery, maybe you're barking up the wrong tree. Maybe they just release it later. Let's see.
Maybe.
They do have a claymore.
Missile weapons, miscellaneous
shit, did I miss that?
arms. Yeah, in
Oh,
the
fucking
Yeah.
head. Oh no! Hoisted on my own petard.
Two-handed weapon, battle axe, flail, war matter, quarterstaff, two-handed sword.
But not a normal mattock, just a war mattock.
Yeah, maybe no mattock is further up. We were two-handed. Or mattock would be one-handed. No, we don't
This is
get.
crazy. Like, I'm looking at the creature charts, and they are just like, they're 2 pages, and you're done, and they're so smashed together, like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And now we get on. Now we get into the spell list and whatnot.
Why are there more types of concussion relief herbs than anything else?
Oh, the herbs are cool. The herbs are dumb and cool.
Herbs
I
are
love
cool.
them.
That is pretty cool.
They have names and they have codes which I don't understand. And then you apply the stem and it gives you double the rate of healing. For fractures specifically.
Apply a cold
Only for,
691 to do
only
nerve
for
damage.
fractures though. You put the stem on the fracture and then it does something. It does CF6.
Is that Jojo Bobobo? What the fuck? Why did you do this? What is this? This is
What?
interesting.
It's your stand when you are an herbalist.
What's that?
Here's frostbite. Oh, that's actually not that bad. All right. Okay. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Arfandas, I can tell that you are ripping off a lot of Tolkien. Look at you.
Wait,
You're so fucking
This monster's
smart.
statistics chart looks like it was stolen from an Ultima manual.
Oh yeah, the monsters are so great. Look at these
Like,
monsters.
seriously, it does.
Look at these monsters. Let's look at Ant in brackets giant. Size S hits 25, ATDB 1730, MDMF 1, 15 SPI 100.
Do some MDMA
Assumes
right now.
ant in
That
1
would be
or
really
2
cool.
foot long. Assumes ant is 1 or 2 foot long. Assumes ant is 2
It's a
to
big
3 foot
fucking
long.
ant.
So the giant warrior ant is just bigger than the normal giant ant.
Oh. And the
why-
giant ape, well, it
why is
signed an
there no normal-
NDA, apparently.
Where's the normal ape? Normal ape also wants stats. Crab giant. M60, 1620,
Crab
MFMF,
giant?
375, PI 100. Yeah, don't you listen to me? Assumes crab is 4 feet wide. That's not even a giant crab, that's a normal crab. There are big crabs out there. Fucker, you don't even know what crabs, how
Wow.
big crabs get. I mean, go looking
Well,
at,
ask the bard.
you're looking at a coconut crab right now.
I love coconut crabs.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, trigger warning for finding coconut crab somewhere in this. Where is it? Okay, for fake news, there's no crabs in this. Let's look, maybe there's one here.
What is class 1 undead?
There we
What?
go. That's 4 feet wide.
That is a wild coke.
There
I'm
you
sorry,
go.
but you're an undead 102, not undead 101.
Yeah, you didn't even finish your bachelor's in undeath yet. Lol, you're just a skeleton.
You gotta die a little harder for a few more years. Damn soul death rules are 90 pages.
So between besides nearly crying myself
Fuck.
into a stupor, I have been looking into Shadiversity.
Sure,
His
Oh, no.
credentials.
I would just like.
He has absolutely no credentials, whether historical
He has
or
none.
publishing
Yeah, I bet-
based, and he self-publishes his own terrible fantasy series
That's not
because he can't get them
surprising me.
published anywhere else.
I would like
It's
to point
totally
out.
fine.
I would like to point out this book could have gotten a second good thing
Mhm.
if it had flesh,
Yeah.
clay, stone, iron, mithril, goblins, but it was golems. I just
Fuck, that would have been
slipped.
cool.
I would love a mithril goblin. What's a mithril goblin even? It's probably pretty fucking dangerous.
This guy, oh my
Only
god.
One kind of genie, 0
Is
out
this
of
book
10.
just an acid flip? Standard, it could. Of what? That's what I want. Of what hacking shit is? Is this an acid flip?
Yeah, no, this was done by guys who have an obsession with the granular, but then just
Yeah.
massive oversights everywhere else. It's
Yeah.
crazy. When are we
I'm-
talking about Space Master?
No, we
And
don't.
why is the
I-
Sphinx an
never want to
extremely
talk.
vicious physical fighter? Like,
what?
Huh?
Thing? What? Where? What?
The Sphinx. That's its description.
Sphinx?
Extremely vicious physical fighter. A Sphinx, yeah.
And that's what I think of.
Why?
It's a dude who fights well. That's a Sphinx. Didn't you know?
No, I think of the guy from Mystery Men who's really
I'm
mysterious.
still trying to find it. Where is it? Sphinx? Snake? Spider? Squid? Wait, am I
Rock,
spelling
huge
it
bird.
wrong? Where's what is it called? What?
Thanks. SPH.
It's not here, is it? On page 1. Oh, of course, it's. Sorry, I was on the animal statistics chart. I should have been the monster statistics chart. Okay.
For animals.
Sphinx. Yeah, Sphinx.
Sphinxes,
There we
they're
go.
just
I'm
normal
not crazy. That's why I thought it was spelled. Extremely vicious physical fighter. It looks like a dude. It's just very vicious. It's a Sphinx.
Those damn vicious dudes.
Titan. 4 times damage with weapons. Use at will. What does use what? Use at will what? The weapons? And 4 times damage? What?
It's Titans at will. Just put them in all your campaigns.
Yeah, use them at will. That's also good. Yeah. Just have Titans everywhere.
Oh no, there's 50 of you traveling. A Titan discovered you. Let's combine all these rules together now.
Okay.
No, he only cited you. I'm sorry, he only cited you. He's gonna ask you what's going on over there, what you're
So he
doing.
pulled me over and gave me a citation. Anyway.
License for traveling like that.
I hate this book so much.
Damn Titan cops.
Troll civilized small. Uses weapons and armor unless disarmed. Book, how dumb do you think we are? Do you think we think that if the troll drops his weapon that he's gonna still use it? Before picking it up again because we didn't specify?
Well, no, Nora. Of course you're stupider than the person who wrote this system. You didn't write your own system.
Yeah. Also, lots of monsters just have unusual abilities which we're not gonna get into, and we're not gonna help you make in our system with
absolutely
rules.
not.
Because why
Go
would
fuck
we do
yourself.
that?
No.
Yeah.
It's
Too busy.
Because trolls are just semi-intelligent. They don't regenerate.
Yeah. On the one hand, we expect you not to understand that a troll without a weapon can't use a weapon. On the other hand, the unicorn, yeah, that's just weirdness, you know. I don't know how to do that. Certainly don't know.
Unusual
I
abilities.
certainly don't know how to sum that up in 6 words or less, which is what I have to do because that's how much my monster has have space.
Yeah, I don't want to actually explain any of these things. I just want to fucking. It's just so
really,
ridiculous.
the description for orc leader really grips me. Leads squads of fighters. A leader, huh? Yeah, it really got me there.
I wouldn't have thought.
I like the idea that what the fuck? But he doesn't use weapons and armor though, because that's what the fighter does.
Yeah, that's only what the fighter does.
Yeah.
God, these guys thought they were really fucking smart, huh?
They really did. They
I
really
don't
did.
know. I don't
Eagle
know.
Giant, train rider could also attack.
I think
Shit.
I think these people might just have had an obsession with filling tables full of useless information.
On top of
so,
that,
too.
there is a small detail that no, these guys definitely think they're smarter than you. Do you know why? All of their magic rules are written like they are fucking laws of nature.
Yeah.
Like they are scientific laws.
They call everything a law. They call the spell law, the arms and claw law and stuff. It's so stupid.
That's ridiculous.
Thanks for the raid. Hi.
Hello, thank you.
Welcome. Here's Giggle.
We're just going crazy over tables. So I hope you like it.
Yeah.
I hate this.
I keep coming out of the mountain of madness, and you guys keep going, no, wait, Emery, there's something cool in here. Check this out. And then I go, all right.
But I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
You should know that it's not real. Okay, what do you want to talk about, Emery? I'm kind of
actually, the crazy thing is, I've looked over. So, there's the muscle law. What the fuck? Muscle lord caster. What the fuck? You have muscle magic? That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get really buff.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, which screen I know how that works. Fallout 4? Fallout 4 is hard as shit to mod, I found, even with the mod organizer stuff.
Even if I listen to all of MXR's videos, it's hard to mod, yes.
I recently was playing through Fallout 4 because I wanted to kind of try to fall in love with it again, because I gave it a very unfair shake when it came out, and I modded the shit out of it with a couple of, I think it's Dangerous Dax videos that he was showing a bunch of like mods and projectile weapon stuff, and because I like the ballistic weapons in Fallout. I decided to go with that, and
Yeah.
I didn't even load that many mods, but it just like couldn't even start, and it wasn't like I changed my load order or anything, or changed anything. It just one day it just decided not to no longer start.
Yeah.
Mod New Vegas, it's a better game and it's more stable.
Yeah, it just looks
Way more
worse,
stable.
but who cares?
Yeah.
It's a way better
Who
game.
gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Get HDR textures.
Yep.
Better
So,
textures. Who
Tell
cares?
me what Page Muscle Law is. I'm also interested now.
Fuck. It's bad. It's not even cool. Like that's the problem. Like it's
Nah,
terrible.
That surprised you that the magic isn't cool? We just
Yeah,
harped
no
on for
shit.
20 minutes why it isn't.
I lost it. It's lost to me now. Oh,
Okay.
it's on 164. It's
Yep.
you literally just understand how muscles work. It's not even that you can like bulk up and like get really cool. That sucks.
God,
Yeah.
that's
They don't even let you control any clams or anything.
No barnacles for you.
I think... Well, you can sort of heal. Okay, that's not the one I used. What? Ah, fuck, I don't remember. But
And
yeah.
I thought the animal statistics chart had elf male, and then the description was loner except during mating season. I was like, what? Elves do pond fire? And they're like, oh, it says elk.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, thank you for the sub as well, Witch Queen.
Oh, we actually hold on.
Melons
We
work.
actually we actually do have a physical enhancement. We do
Well,
have one.
you did it
It's
well now.
in 175.
On
Managed
75.
scale. You can tell the exact dimensions, mass, and or weight of one object. Wow, thanks. I'm so glad that I took
Wow.
a spell for that.
Wait, where is this?
Slight ears,
Oh, that's-
double normal. This is 175.
175? Okay.
Balance, you get special bonus of plus 50 for maneuver rolls.
Oh, okay.
Okay, night vision, side vision. 300-degree field of vision. How does that work? Do my eyes bulge out? My FOV changes? What the
You are
fuck?
just a chameleon.
Yeah, you're like a frog now.
I shifted my FOV
Oh,
up.
posture check, thank you very much.
Yeah. You turn into frog detective.
Sounding, water vision, water lungs, heat vision, gas lungs.
Actually-
Oh, fuck off.
Pretty accurate, because eventually you get water lungs and heat vision and
Yeah.
gashings.
Yeah. You become a frog.
Spell
gas
lungs, not gashings.
ways, invisible ways, living change. Fuck.
I'm trying
Yep.
to
I finally found the way to enlarge. I finally. Okay, yeah, you can get 50% extra mass. There's no increase in your strength. What the fuck? Then why get bigger?
Yeah, but that, except for movement purposes, so
Bulking, man.
doesn't even make any sense.
I can be the Incredible Bulk, but I can't throw a car. That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Gate mastery. Why is familiar under gate Oh my god, what? I like how gate mastery isn't about teleportation, but instead about summoning and controlling things.
I'm trying to find the thing I used to make other people get broken legs.
Shield mastery.
Lofty bridge.
Yeah, some of these are written like really bad Oriental Adventures abilities, and some of them are written like unbending
Yes.
laws of nature. Like this, just it's so so weird.
Stardew Valley, an RPG game? That sounds interesting. What the heck is that?
Wait a minute. That's tight. Oh, Delta Green is tight as fuck too.
But how do
Delta
you go?
Green is
Wait,
awesome.
wait. How are you gonna play Stardew Valley RPG into Delta Green? Is it the same characters? Like a bunch of farmers gonna go Delta Green? Because I think that's awesome.
A bunch of farmers dealing with cryptids.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, Stardew Valley is kind of, there's magic underneath it.
Yeah, you
I'm
could
building a
very
story type
you
game.
could very easily run that. Like what do you?
Oh, that works.
Oh,
That
oh,
sounds
yeah.
cool.
That's really good.
Yeah.
People who made the really terrible travel system are also doing for 5e that I've lambasted before. We may do on the channel again, or working on a homestead thing. I'm really into the idea of building a homestead, and I think we've talked about this before. Maybe I talked about it on my stream, but I really like the idea of building up a farm, or a homestead, or a town, or a keep. I think that's a very good thing to make players care about the area.
Oh yeah.
I enjoy that stuff
100%,
too,
yeah.
actually. Like, that's the only reason why I like the Game of Thrones tabletop RPG, because it was like, oh, you start out managing a domain. Cool, let's go with this. And I was like, oh, you guys don't have enough options. Damn. So,
Yep, exactly.
I enjoy the heck out of that, though. It's, And then again, I've played ruler characters in the past.
Okay, I don't think this has this. Maybe it's in the... Do I dare brave this whole fucking book for just find this? I guess I do.
Thieving Law. Gauge Wealth. What? You have a spell called Find Buyer. Locates the nearest person who wants a specific object.
What, Craigslist is a power in this?
Yes, Craigslist's power, page 187,
Yeah.
Thieving Law. Oh my god.
Oh god, call your wizard Craig and just use that spell to have people find... Ah, fuck, I hate this book so much.
And the special notes at the bottom, the GM must decide what constitutes ownership in his world. That's not my golden pendant, it's our golden pendant.
Our pendant. Do we have communist nerds? Can we put that gif up? Can we do that?
I don't have it with me.
Shit.
Well, it also said the
It's so
dwarves, like, a lot of them are communists too, so... Not just the elves.
Okay, this is the healing. It's not what I wanted. Fuck
Dwarves
off.
feel like they would be like the most staunch, like industrialist, like capitalist dudes.
Oh yeah. That's one of the things I really like about Arcanum.
I disagree with that. I think dwarves would be the most, together with elves as well, would both just be about doing cool shit. They just want to build the coolest underground town ever. They're gonna labor all day for that, and then they could put all the gold into a big vault and never touch it.
Industrialist dwarves. That would be
Yeah,
radical.
that would work super
cool.
well. I think.
I love that. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket.
You wouldn't need to make that much art and that much cool stonemasonry if you just wanted the resources.
The money, though.
Yeah.
It's the money.
I mean, they are greedy, but in a lot of fiction, dwarves are there to dig out the gold so the others don't get it, because they are there for the gods to give it back or to sort it. Which is, I like that trope.
Do we have? Yeah, I do too. I
Dwarf
think
Fortress
it's
RPG,
really fun.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing you can do in Dwarf Fortress is mint coins, then everything goes to shit immediately. That's why they took them out again.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Let's rein ourselves back in, because we could cherry pick this book all day.
Yeah, but we don't have to.
All
Is the
right.
thing. Yeah, we could
But
conclude that it's garbage.
It's already painful on its own. Yeah.
what is our? We've said our thoughts on this so many times.
Guilty.
Yes, guilty.
Guys, I have a real thing to this audience, whoever is within the broadcasting sound of my voice. Do not design RPGs like this.
No,
the
please.
more you design RPGs with granularity and your specific nerdisms in mind, the more you are going to alienate your audience, and the worse your RPG is going to be.
Yes.
You should be focusing on what's fun, and if you want to interject some things that are based on your own personal interests, then that's great. I love sword fighting and dueling and tournament stuff, but I'm not going to change, say, D&D to match that, because any amount of granularity I add will just slow down the session. So do something that's fun, and work on those things as fun tidbits or side things or class abilities or optional systems that don't slow it down.
Expansion books, that's where it's at, guys.
Yes, no one's saying you can't have this stuff, but you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be front and center, and it should very much be a thing you. Okay, no, I don't think it should be just your thing, and don't even make. Basically, if you want to be this granular about stuff, just play through that in your game, because the chance that another person wants your specific granularity is so low. I mean, if a person comes up to me and says, and I don't know Rolemaster, and so they did say this, hey, let's play this. I kind of want to play, and then I'd be like, okay, let's play. And then you kind of put up with all this bullshit, and then you play it for a bit, then you realize that it's not very good, and then you stop. And then you never play your game again, and that's not what you want from your game you publish, which you put a lot of work into. It should be fun, it should engage people, and it shouldn't be a chore to do. Because again, if you play this game realistically, the player is going to spend more time making new characters than it is spent playing. And that's bad.
Their head is going to get caved in with a quarterstaff in 5 seconds. Now,
right away.
All right. So, all that said, there are ways that you can expand existing games or create systems for your own games that do not get this crazy. There's a lot of stuff on DM's Guild, and I would say you can find creators that are interested in the same stuff you are and start to pattern work off of what they do, or at least just appreciate what they do. There are a lot of people who want to take more game out. There are a lot of people who want to put way too much game in, but really focus on creators and your own creations that sell a fantasy, not a system.
Yep.
The reason that I bang so hard on the Strongholds and Followers and Kingdoms and Warfare is because they are not granular like a lot of base building shit for D&D 5th edition is, because that's the kind of stuff that expands on the very, very simple DMG. Oh, you have 50,000 gold coins, buy a plot of land, build a castle or whatever. It takes this many days. So many people are interested in, okay, but what if I add this room? What mechanical bonus does it give me? Oh, what if I do this? What if I change my hall banners? Does it give me a morale bonus to my troops? Like, no. That's the kind of shit that's ridiculous. Sell the fantasy of being the lord of the castle. Sell the fantasy of running the homestead.
Yes.
Sell the fantasy of being a sword fighter. Don't get bogged down in the realism, because the realism of any of this shit is that it all sucked and everything was kind of not cool before the internet. Pen and paper RPGs.
Yeah.
Everybody smelled like poo. Everybody did. So, you know.
That's totally not a Renaissance fabrication to make the Dark Ages look worse and them better.
No, not at all. I will say, a game like this, I don't think it would work today as the thing.
Oh, it absolutely wouldn't.
Because, I mean, because back in the day, when you didn't have the internet, you would pick this up at a game store and be like, oh, this looks very, very complex and kind of interesting. And then you would leaf through it for 5 minutes and not really get it. And then you might just buy it. Because, hey, it seems interesting. It kind of looks like we can do a lot in this game. And today, not only can you just find these books, if you know what I mean, you can also read other people's words about these books very easily and understand that it's not good. It's garbage. Please stop. So why is Discord doing sounds at me? That's not what I want.
Sorry, that was my Discord.
Oh, that was it. Oh, okay.
That's okay. I forgot to silence my phone. Sorry.
Well, if people are really desperate to try Rolemaster, there are sheets for it on Roll20. So.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Godspeed. I hope you don't die.
Yeah, I mean, in the current viability of systems is really weird. It's really weird because the RPG business, the whole umbrella business is not crazy lucrative. It's not like really huge. You're going to be basically funding Kickstarters to fund more Kickstarters. But like the most popular people are making mods for, D&D. They're making expanded settings and books and other stuff for that. But outside of that, your setting is going to live or die based on how well you sell your fantasy with stuff like Lancer or even down to, what was the one that I sent? What the fuck was that? Urban Jungle?
I don't remember.
Like, I sent a thing that was like noir furry investigation. That's Urban Jungle. It is Urban Jungle.
Yes, it is.
That's selling to a specific demographic, and stuff like City of Mist or other things like that. Honestly, City of Mist is my favorite Powered by the Apocalypse hacks because it's the one that's least campfire story.
I just put this up, and listen right now. I would play Urban Jungle in a heartbeat for just off this cover.
Yeah. Yeah, that cover is fantastic.
I would be this.
It looks like they commissioned a lot of
Look at this fucking bear. I want to be this bear.
Artists.
I want to be this cool.
I like that fox. He's vibing.
Yeah.
I like the dapper like sleek vibe. It's nice. Wow, man, wow. Games like Rolemaster don't exist anymore for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do not exist anymore for a reason. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. This is my projection. 20 years from now, all of the Campfire Powered by the Apocalypse games are going to be right where this game is. They're going to be a relic of a very specific age. while more
Yeah.
generalist games are going to be continuing on because the
Yeah.
people who were into this died out.
Yeah.
Kind of
They
true,
they
yeah.
burnt out on so many rule heavy systems. They got tired of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Most of those guys went back to D&D 1E
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a simple system and straightforward.
either eventually you find your hole and you fit in it perfectly, and then you never play another game.
Yeah.
Which could be Rolemaster for some people, I guess. But then you never want another edition of it either. That's me with Shadowrun 4th edition.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever want another Shadowrun because 5th and 6th have sucked. I tried it. So I don't want it anymore. And so, yeah, I'm DMing a 4th edition game every other week at the moment. That's super fun.
Wonderful.
And
There you go.
I think those, by the way, Shadowrun does a lot of things right when it comes to adventure books, because the adventure books, the new ones, are mostly like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a bunch of characters, here's some ideas, make your own shit up.
That's actually really cool.
Yes.
I like that.
And
Setting books
I've
are.
loved
I asked,
all of those books for 4th edition.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
yeah. I asked a question a while ago, I think a couple days ago, about like, what do you prefer, setting booklets or adventure booklets? And I way prefer setting stuff.
same.
I would prefer
Me too.
somebody talking about like, okay, here's a location, here's a town, here's a city, here's a region, and you can just change names and roll forward with it with all of the interesting kind of socio-political intrigue that's going on. You can make those kind of things fit your world. And adventures are just too linear.
And as a player, I love setting books too, because I'm just like, I want to play a character who's from this place now.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas
100%.
if you do an adventure book, you can't really do that. So
There's stuff that I enjoyed from like the Book of Challenges and stuff like that from 4E, where there were a bunch of smaller area-based modules that were just really, really choice. A lot of old 1E adventures are built in that way too, where they're very open and explorable, and it's more assumed that your players are actually going to play instead of sit and stare at their phones like gormless idiots.
that's why, like, to this day, I always talk about Keep on the Borderlands and Isle of Dread.
Yes.
Because
Oh my god, I love Keep on
those
the
two are
Borderlands.
just, I just love them both. For that, what you just
Red Hand
said.
of Doom is like the best 3.5 adventure because it gives you an area and it says, okay, you have a force that's moving in this area. Do what you do.
Yep.
Be adventurers, be heroes. And I think the more you sell the idea of being a hero, the more fun your game's going to be.
Oh yeah.
The more you pull people along by fishhooks, the less they're going to care, and the more they're going to tab out and play League of Legends while listening to you just waffle.
That's why I'm so big on Reactive World. Oh, huh.
Yep.
I guess by killing this crime lord, we did actually help the city.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many DMs who actually don't do that I still encounter, and I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it's
being lazy.
Yeah, the game, it should be mostly about making your own thing. And you can get inspiration from anywhere. A lot of being a good DM is just mixing stuff together well, so it isn't obvious where it comes from. Well, thanks, Daisy.
Thank you.
Daisy, you're amazing.
I'm just, by the way, I found the table where you can just break both legs and your neck by doing a hard maneuver.
Fucking sick!
Nice.
Hey guys, check me do this backflip.
Yeah. This is if you fumble a normal skill roll, you roll those minus D100s. If you remember, if you go really bad and it's a hard thing, you just fucking die. I like the description. Fall, break. No wait, fall, break both arms and neck. You are out for 60 rounds, plus 30 hits. So you take 30 points of damage from breaking both arms and your neck. And then you're out for 60 combat rounds, but then I guess you are fine after.
You're fucking fine. If I get hit in the abdomen with a knife, I'm gonna bleed out and die in like 3 rounds. If I break up my neck and both my arms, I'm just gonna lay here for a little while and I'll be back up.
No, the thing is, you're not gonna be back up, but you can act again, which is, I guess, not stand up. You can just writhe in agony after 60 rounds because you still have legs to writhe with.
Oof. Okay, that's Rolemaster.
Yeah, that's Rolemaster.
Yeah.
Break both your arms and your neck. That's Rolemaster. I think that's a good point.
There was one of the spell fumbles I was going to mention.
Oh, that's
for
obviously
if
that's
you
also spell
fumble an
fumbles.
informational spell, If you fumble an informational spell, you have seen Armageddon. This results in brain shutdown. You're in a coma for 3 months.
Oh, wonderful! It's like
And that's
Lovecraft looking
like
at
if
a
I want to like
radiator.
detect
Yeah.
disease and I
This
fumble.
book, so that's another the thing to just say. We are making fun of these for good reason, but just to point this out. So these books with all these rolls, which instantly kill you or put you out of commission for months, are trying to derail your own game. Even as a DM, you don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
It's a fun idea to be like, you
there
see
is a
Armageddon.
reason that we got rid of crit fumble tables and shit like
Yeah.
that. There's a reason that we got rid of them. People keep trying to bring them back, but we got rid of them because they hamper your not only your story but also every single player character at the table.
Yes,
If at any roll you could fuck up, drop your gun, and shoot yourself in the head, which can happen in Cyberpunk 2020, by the way.
Yes.
Or you can just shoot your friend in the head. That's not satisfying. It's not good. It's not fun.
And it's also
even yesterday, I ran a session last night in which I used I think it's a 5th level spell, Immolate. I forgot to read that if you die from it, you burn to ash. You're instantly gone. I was like, holy shit! And I threw that at like a 4th level character, and it almost burnt them completely to ash and removed their character. I felt really bad, and I was like, wow, I added this as a thing because it's a cool sounding spell with a cool effect. I didn't realize that it would completely eradicate them.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anytime you have that, especially on a random roll of a die, you're going to be hampering your not only your storytelling but also your game running potential.
And the thing to keep in mind about it is if random Goblin 5, who's in this one encounter, fumbles and decapitates himself, that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh yeah.
But if that happens,
I did that in Shadowrun all the time.
But if that happens to your character, your player's character, that is not fun, and it's not a noble end for them in any way, shape, or form, and it's not. It shouldn't be that over the top.
That easy.
It shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't be that easy. That instant.
Just like, hey, you take a really bad hit to the chest, you have a disadvantage on Constitution saving throws or whatever. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You have that for like a week.
Straightforward.
Okay, cool.
I usually I can sometimes improvise if it's if someone gets a real bad crit and they and so on. I give them some consequences, but it's usually just you get a -1 for a while with attacks because of this or something.
Man, yeah.
Find a healer. That I feel that is okay because that's it shouldn't be consequence free, but it shouldn't be you do that now, lol.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
one system
so-
I've seen do this really well recently was 5th edition Vampire, actually, because the introduction of messy criticals as well, where the beast critically succeeds instead of you. Oh, that's just been so much fun.
Oh yeah, right. Because some of your dice.
I'm going to force open a door instead you rip it off its hinges.
That's really cool. I love that.
Some of your dice are just beast dice, which is cool. Yeah.
Yes.
The combat crits in FFG Star Wars and Genesis in general is the idea. It's ramping, and so the more critical hits you get, the worse your rolls are going to get. But you still roll a D100. You cannot roll an instant death. You cannot roll to be bleeding out on your first critical. It's not going to happen unless the person has a ridiculously specific setup of talents and weapon add-ons. It's not going to work like that. So like you're more than likely going to drop your weapon. Which, hey, you know what's really cool? Getting into a lightsaber fight with a guy and he critically hits you, causes you to drop your weapon, and then he grabs it.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
Good, congratulations, you have no more. And that could be done by a regular guy. Just like a regular dude could kick you in the hand and grab your lightsaber and run away. But like, that's the kind of stuff that's interesting and creates more character, more interaction, more fun. But that being said, Rolemaster just fucking bad. So what are we doing next time? Whose turn is it?
It's Drake's turn.
Turn.
Let me give my final thoughts on this.
Go ahead, please.
I'm never gonna say you shouldn't kill characters. The player death shouldn't be a thing because I think it has its place. But it shouldn't happen just because random orc happened to roll an 80 on a D100 and then rolled another 80 on another D100. Because it's just too often. It's gonna mean nothing. Players are gonna. This is literally a game where I'd be like, I'm playing my twin brother now, same stats because I can't be asked anymore to make another character.
Roll a new character. Fuck that. That it's an animosity based system. I'm just really boring.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Drake.
Well,
Final thoughts, and what are we reading?
Final thoughts. Fumble tables. I remember going through the entirety of in second edition when they had the what is it? Players options, combat and tactics, players options, spell and magic, all those books.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going through those fumble tables or the critical tables and all that and being like, wow, this really sucks. Like, it's cool. You wrote out that, you dissolve somebody's skull and they die instantly. That's cool that you wrote that out, but that just doesn't sound fun at my table. So like so much of those books wound up getting unused. The problem I have with Rolemaster is that that's the backbone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole basis of it.
Yeah, you can't take it out.
Don't make your basis on such.
Fuck, that's
you can't.
Also, that's the real takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's the real takeaway. Don't make it your backbone.
GURPS, as shit as it is, you can play GURPS really simply by just rolling 3d6 and you have a skill of 12. Oh, did you roll on 12? Congratulations, you did it. That you can play that game, but you cannot play Rolemaster without Where's the weapon table here.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. You can't separate it from that.
And
regularity is essential.
Yeah, if you have a polearm, if you have a polearm, you gotta have this fucking page open all the time and look at what did I roll? How much damage is that? Because who's gonna invent a system for this game that abstracts this shit away? I mean, you can make it up, but why? Just don't. Just maybe don't.
Play something else.
Just don't.
Play something else.
Play something else. Don't make this your backbone.
Fuck, the real granularity comes from here. The real granularity comes from here because the idea being, if I have no armor and it's a shit attack, I don't get any damage because I dodged it. But the guy in the heavy armor, he can't dodge. He always gets hit for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and then eventually it's gonna do a crit. Also extremely dumb. Why would you always get hit as soon as it's a 42? What does it even mean? I don't know. But it's stupid on its face. People in heavy armor can still dodge, can still block. Fuck you.
Oh yeah.
If you want to write the most realistic system in the universe, at least know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I just know that. Yeah.
It's the shadiversity of RPGs.
Yeah, it really is.
Hello,
okay, I'm sorry.
I am Rolemaster.
I'm sorry, but I had that point was very apropos at the end. So please continue, Drake.
Yep. Oh, that was the whole point. Don't make that your backbone.
Yeah.
Because you need a backbone that's much more stable than that. You need to have something that isn't, because it comes down to what the basic role was at the very beginning. It was just like, wait, what's this open role crap? Why can't it just be meet or beat? When you're able to reduce something to a sentence, when it comes to your rolling, bam, you've got a system.
But that's part of the reason. First page where they wanted this to be a definitive. You never have to have any other book. And what we ended up seeing was we would rather just not deal with it because instead of being something that was specific, interesting, and brings out a fantasy or a setting or characterization, it's just nothing. It is just granularity for granularity's sake.
It really, really is. And that's why we keep talking up like White Wolf games, because it's just like, okay, it's just D10s. Shadowrun, it's just D6s. D20, it's just D20. And even though a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games really suck, it's really simple still, though.
You want to compliment? Okay.
I do. I'm going to redeem another one for Drake, too, because I think we need it. I think after today.
I think Drake has many points. Drake needs a compliment.
That's true.
Drake can
I actually
redeem
can't get a second compliment. Goddamn. All right, well, give me my one.
Okay. You are a real trooper for holding out this long, but that's a given. I think
I'm invincible.
The longer we talk about role-playing games, the more I realize just how much we are the same in this regard, which is a thing it's really nice.
We realized it in the very first stream we ever talked to each other.
Yeah, but it keeps happening. Yeah. Also, you have a very, very dreamy voice, which I could listen to for hours.
I appreciate
and
that.
I have.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Aww. Okay.
I'm listening to you as well.
Aww. Thank you. Drake, sorry, we have been rolling again.
Oh.
What we read in that?
You want me to pick what the next one is?
Yes.
I have two good choices. We could either do the Firefly RPG because that's been brought up, or we could do the Game of Thrones RPG.
Okay, so I've played the Firefly RPG, and I don't think there's actually a lot to talk about. Game of Thrones sounds like the perfect, like, absolute chud shit to talk about.
It does.
I feel like talking about it because I don't like Game of Thrones.
Okay, perfect. Let's do that.
Game of Thrones will have a bunch of material,
Yeah.
So let's do that one. Yeah.
All right, I'll save Firefly for the next one after that. Then we'll do Game of Thrones this time. Okay, I'll get you the book.
Okay.
Lovely. Yeah. We should really, man, I talk about Conan a lot,
Wait.
but like, my last one was fucking 2D20, and I don't want to just go right in on another one.
Not to be, did we? No, you're right. It's correct. I had forgotten we did 2D20. Yeah, it was Drake's.
Yeah, we did the Fallout RPG.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about the
so
2D20
much, I'm just
system,
like, I like your campaign.
Is they're all basically like the same, except they have different like individual stuff. Like Conan's got really good magic systems and random rolling, but then like I'm really waiting for Dune because I might have us do Dune when that comes out.
Man,
I'm thinking about getting the Atreides edition.
I'll be real. I'm waiting for Dune the movie to come out quite keenly. Yeah.
I'm very excited, but
yeah. Okay. Well, so next time, which is on the, let me just look at this up. Next week is not going to be, so it's the week after. It's going to be on the 23rd. And yeah, that's going to be, fuck. Game of Thrones. There we go.
Yeah, fuck.
Okay, all right.
I might be out of steam a little bit. Okay, who do we fucking rate now? Let's see. Mouse and Penny got me right the other day.
The exhaustion is palpable.
Bruce is still doing art. Is Bruce about to die, or is Bruce fine? Holy crap! Bruce is doing a dragon. Is this Mathis dragon? Whatever this is.
It's probably Mathis.
Pretty fucking awesome. Okay, we are gonna. Much as I would like to rate Bruce, Mouse has rated me a bunch, and I have not rated Mouse back.
Let's head over.
Oh, yeah,
and since Mouse is playing a very granular game, namely Project Zomboid, which I've tried and I personally despise that game for many reasons, but hey, it is fascinating to me. I will say that.
I've thought about trying it out. It looks interesting.
We gonna rate Mouse and Penny, who is a colorblind VTuber. And so their stream is usually in grayscale, which is also really cool. And also I'm in grayscale today. Did it not do it?
Yes.
It canceled the raid. Yeah, the Twitch's new raid stuff from the stream manager is just odd.
Do I do
you have to like stick on that?
Do I do it in chat? What does it
You
want
can
from
do
me?
it, you just have to stay on the screen. You just have to not click away from it.
I have a raid in progress. Where is it? Though I don't see it.
Oh my god, I don't know.
What?
Where'd it go?
Help me. Where's my raid? Okay, apparently we'll have to talk until it jumps. I have no idea.
All right, we're just gonna keep going.
There isn't a window.
Yeah.
There isn't a window for me to click raid.
Oh no.
That's amazing, Twitch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Twitch. Wonderful.
I'm
super
Twitch.
excited.
Thank you.
Wait.
No, it's really not anywhere.
Which?
Maybe it's on the.
Wait, were you talking about the one by Noble Knight?
I have no. What?
What?
The Game of Thrones role playing game. Because there's a bunch.
No, the one by Green Ronin.
Oh, Green Ronin. Okay, radical. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's the one from fucking Guardians of Order, and then Noble Knight, and good.
The Green Ronin one is the one that I actually played.
All right.
I think I've heard about play where you have like more than one character.
Yeah, you can. Like, there's a few different ways you can play it. You can play it like everybody in the group is part of the same noble house
or
or
I mean,
whatever.
like you could play it as like a player like controls a house or something as well. Like
Yeah,
that could be kind of
hmm
cool. That reminds
or
me
you
a
can
lot of
play it like
Birthright.
each player plays a noble house, which is also fun too. I
Hey
played it
guys,
both ways.
if you want to do that instead, just play Birthright, the best D&D campaign setting ever made.
Hmm
Birthright is just Game of Thrones but better.
I can't say I've played Birthright or Game of Thrones, so looking forward to reading it.
Indeed.
Mm.
I'm happy to.
Birthright is
Green
better.
Ronin is also really weird because like their games are either like super good or kind of middling.
They're very hit or miss. Yeah, they did a bunch of D20 Modern supplements way back when D20 Modern was still a thing.
They did the Dragon Age one, didn't they?
Yeah, they did Dragon Age. I think. Let me look. They're the ones. They're the ones because they have a particular system that they dreamed up. That's just called the Age system, I think.
Or I think you might have to start another raid. It's not going.
I don't know. I can try again.
Yeah, they have something that's called the Age system.
I'm sorry, Emery.
Oh no.
No. But yeah, they Age system. They did that for Green Ronin. Did the Expanse RPG also, and they did Dragon Age. They did something called Blue Rose, and a few others. They also had a generic modern RPG that they did just called Modern Age.
They are a weird company. Like,
very weird company.
They're just strange.
Mm-hmm.
I can never pin them down. Oh, they did Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay back in the day too, huh?
Yeah, way back.
Maybe I
Freeport. Ooh, Freeport City of Adventure. That's one that I would love to look at some point.
Yeah, we should totally do
That's
that one.
An interesting one.
Because I know that I think that's the one that put them like really, really on the map. They were going to turn the core system that they used for the Game of Thrones RPG into a bigger thing, but they never did. It just didn't sell well.